Competition time again, and here is a chance to win a brand new PS5. All you got to do is subscribe to On Track GP on YouTube.
Also follow us on Instagram at OnTrackGP. Make sure you like the competition post, it's pinned on Instagram as well.
You can win yourself this right now. What are you waiting for?
Can I enter? Or can I have a go?
No.
Bonjour and welcome to Monaco. I assume they speak French in Monaco. I think they speak French in Monaco. I think. Anyway, hello and welcome to On Track GP ahead of the Monaco Grand Prix. Today I am joined by Dan. He's in all his Mercedes gear.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Shockingly.
You like it.
We go head to head again. You know, Arsenal, Tottenham, and now we have Mercedes, Red Bull. But you're not really.
It's all love. It's all love.
You're not really in the conversation, really. Bottled it again.
To be fair, I mean, it looks like we're bottling both things.
Yeah, exactly. Coylin is also joining us. Hello.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing? This is your first watch along, right?
First watch along, yeah. People probably recognise my voice, but haven't seen me in person.
It's nice to put a face to the voice. You've got such a unique voice as well.
Yeah, a lot of people never really understand what I'm saying over here, but...
Aye?
I absolutely love the accent. Well, let's talk about what happened this weekend so far ahead of the race. So, yes, I mean, we could all say that Max Verstappen, I mean, just an unbelievable final lap to take pole. I mean, everyone... I feel like still underestimates Verstappen.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I feel like, you know, when you have Alonso there, like, everyone thinks he's going to be on pole, like, can Max do it? I still think they don't have, like, with the certainty that, like, Max can do it, but, like, he just proves time and time again that he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I had no doubt that he was going to nick it. I mean, let's big up Alonso, by the way, because that was incredible. Like, what a lap, right? But you know when you just know it's going to happen? It's like he's there last. You know it's going to come into the stages of last couple of seconds, what's going to happen. As soon as it goes, I was not surprised. Phenomenal. Like, the driver's exceptional, mate. Like, he's absolutely incredible. I know they've got the car, I get it, but this is a special talent, and I think one that will be around for a long time. Yeah, I mean, he's looking fantastic.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah. And also, as you mentioned about Alonso, Coylin, the resurgence that we're seeing from him in the Aston is quite unbelievable. I mean, it would have been his first pole, I think, in like, I think it was something like a decade or something, if he would have got it. But still, to be starting on the front row with Max, I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see what happens at that first turn.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like you said, it was 2012 when he got his last pole in Formula 1. He's with Ferrari. Yeah, that's over 10 years ago. So to be like 10 years and he's 40, well, going on 42 now, I think. It's incredible to think that he can still fight like this. And the great thing about being second place in Monaco on the grid is, unlike Jeddah or I think it was Miami who's second as well, he's actually on the racing line here. So he is. So if he gets a start nailed on lovely, he can get a great start and get past Verstappen into the first corner.
I mean, hopefully it will end up being a good race. We're all hopeful that there's no red flags today, by the way.
I definitely am.
We all hope that. We all hope there's no red flags. We hope it's a clean race. But Monaco does always have... It's either one of those races where it's exceptionally boring in terms of the track because there's hardly any way you can kind of overtake or anything. Or if there's crashes, then we know it's a seriously long delay. And speaking of crashes, Sergio Perez, he crashed out in Q1 yesterday on turn 1 on a fast lap. I mean, he's usually the king of street circuits, isn't he, Dan? So what happened there? Yeah,
I mean, listen, drivers can make mistakes, can't they? You know, we saw Lewis in practice do this similar, just out of nowhere. There's no room for error in this circuit. You know, there's no runoff areas. Once you make that mistake, you're in the wall. And I think that's the beauty of it, which is why, of course, we're probably going to get red flags and crashes today. But in terms of the actual race and circuit itself, it's not one that you look at in terms of it being exciting. It's more the atmosphere, the history, and that's why it's a special one for the Formula 1 drivers to want to win. Yeah. But just touching on what Colin was saying about Alonso, one of the most underrated drivers, man. Like,
do you think he's underrated?
I don't think people appreciate how good this guy is, man. Like, consistently.
Yeah.
Formula 1 is a lot about timing, right? Alonso's not had the best of timing with his moves to teams, in my opinion. Because when he was at the Ferrari, they weren't really dominant, were they? He went to McLaren and had that fallout with Lewis and the team, left. You know, you look back to the Renault days of when he was winning stuff. I think if you had the same car and put Lewis, Max, Alonso, all of them in the same car, Alonso will be winning races, mate. Yeah. 100%.
Do you think that's how it should be then? All the cars should be the same? Because that's what people talk about, the fact that it's not competitive. People say, you know, Red Bull are just so dominant. But and I always defend it, obviously, as a Red Bull fan, and say, well, Mercedes were the most dominant team for a 10-year period. So would it be better if every driver was in the exact same car?
I mean, for me, it would be about the driver then, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be about the car.
Well, this
so that's
is
what I want to
the
see.
age-old question:
You know
what's
what
more
I'm
important, the car or the driver?
Precisely. I've always thought the driver was. You need both, of course, to win. I think every single driver has had a wicked car when they've won a world championship, right? But for me, I've always looked at the driver over the car, and I think if you look at what Fernando Alonso has achieved and look at how he's overachieved in some of the cars like the Alpine and the Renault of old, he went back to Renault when it was really poor and was still putting himself in touching distance of podiums. I think he's been an incredible driver for the last 20 years. Superb.
Well, me, for Alonso as well, it's not the fact it was just Formula 1, it's the fact that he's gone over to do the Indy 500, almost won on his first attempt.
Yeah.
He's gone to the World Endurance Championship, won twice with Toyota. You know, just things like this. He can jump into any car and be instantly successful.
Incredible driver.
Would you like to see him in a Red Bull, for example? I don't know if it will ever, I don't think it will ever happen, but would you like to see him, imagine him and Max competing with each other in the same car?
I mean, I would rather see that. I like Checo, don't get me wrong. I think Perez is a great driver, but he isn't as good as Alonso. If you was to look at a team, you'd probably get the Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton rivalry. Again, if you was to put Alonso in a Red Bull alongside Max Verstappen, I think it'd be incredible to watch. Yeah, I would.
It would be pretty good to see that. But as we mentioned, Sergio Perez, he did crash out at turn 1. He starts at the back of the grid today, and that's a really big blow for him in terms of the championship and the drivers. We were talking about early on in the season, they were right up there together, him and Max. There wasn't much that was splitting them. Then we spoke about the fact that we had loads of street circuits coming up. This would be a really good time if Perez could do something and kind of like make a title challenge for himself. These would kind of be the race he has to win. But as we're seeing, Melbourne, he had that incident and he was towards the back of the grid, not as bad as this and not on the same type of track, but being back of the grid today. I mean, where do you think, Gordon, the best he can aim to finish today?
It's very hard to tell because the problem Perez is going to have here at Monaco is the fact that you have the other drivers like outside the top 10 will be starting on the hard tyres, probably to try and make positions. So no matter what he really does, unless he makes advantage of a safety car, an early safety car or something, he's going to be stuck in the train, maybe not being able to overtake, definitely
It's so
not
hard
here.
to overtake on this track.
And the only thing is, if you try and overtake here, like Leclerc started from the back of the grid in 2019, and he just went kind of ballistic in the opening laps, overtaking. But at the end, there's like 10 laps in, he hit the wall because he was just going too hard, and that was him ruined. So there's you either try and do it, you try and go for the overtake and risk that, or you just try and sit and just see if something can happen.
But at the end of the day, I mean, if you're right at the back of the grid, I mean, I guess you have to find a way and
you have to try and push it.
Yeah, you have to push the limit, and whatever happens, I guess.
He's got the car. He's got the. He's a good driver. He could be aiming for the points. I know it's hard to overtake, but he'll get in them points today. I've got no doubts.
Okay,
I think he's a talent, and the car's ridiculous, isn't it? The car's so quick.
Yeah, the car is so quick. I mean, the race is fast approaching, so actually, we'll just pause for a minute. We should all have well, I think I've got the whiteboards. We usually do our predictions.
Okay.
But I'm just now missing the pens.
Should we just say them instead?
Yeah, let's say them. Maybe we can get them written down somewhere else so we don't forget them. So Dan, tell me who your P1, P2, P3 is.
I've got to go Max. I just think he's ridiculously good, man. I don't think this will be one that he fails in the first corner. I hope it'll make it exciting, but I don't see that happening. I think Alonso can hold on to this, if I'm honest. I really hope. For me, he's the one that I look at and think, yeah, fair play. You're the one I do look at, and I know Perez has got the same car, but other than that, another team, he's the one I think that can get closest to them. Who's starting third and fourth at the moment?
I'll read you through the team. I'll read you through the grid. Sorry, that's my football head coming out. So from back to front, at the back of the grid, it is Checo, Zhou Guan Yu, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Sargent, Bottas, Stroll, Albon, De Vries, Piastri make up 11th to 20th. Top 10 is Lando Norris, Tsunoda, Russell, Gasly, Leclerc, Hamilton, Sainz, Ocon, Alonso and Verstappen.
I'll go Verstappen first, Alonso second, and I'm going to go for Carlos Sainz in third.
Carlos Sainz in third?
Yeah, I'll go for Sainz, yeah.
Well, what do you think, Colin?
I'm going to go the other way. I think Alonso's going to try his very best to get past Verstappen in the first corner, so I'm going to go, maybe wishful thinking, I'm going to go Alonso for the win. I'm going to go Verstappen second, and I think Ocon can hold on to third. I think he'll be able to keep the Ferraris behind him, considering what track it is. So.
Yeah. Okay. Who is your team, Colin? I
don't really generally have a team that I usually root for, but it'd be mostly Red Bull because it used to be when they'd be challenging Hamilton for the title.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see somebody stop Hamilton, so I went
I like it.
Now you want to see someone stop Max, though.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There you
We'll
go.
go back to
Yeah,
Mercedes now. Yeah.
Yeah, fair weather fan. Right, for me, I'm going to go, obviously, Max, P1. I will go Alonso, P2. And I will, something I don't do often, I will go Hamilton, third,
Good.
which is not too bad.
That'd be nice. Yeah,
I don't usually do that.
The podium would be nice.
No, he could with the pit stops, maybe.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
What's your thinking there, Abs? Why'd you fancy Lewis for this one? I'm not to win it.
Why do I fancy him? I feel like I'm a really big fan of Carlos Sainz, but I just have noticed, for me, he's always much better in qualifying than he actually is on a race. And the level of pushing I think that needs to be done, I don't feel like he actually maybe pushes the car to what it needs to be. I think he's a bit more of a cautious driver. I don't see it being Leclerc. I also don't necessarily trust the Ferraris in general as the car. They've got so many technical issues. And I don't know. I'm interested to see, obviously, the upgrades that have come to the Mercedes, and we'll talk about that a bit more in depth. But I'm interested to see what he can get out of the car, Lewis. And I think it'll be interesting to see how he pushes that car as well today.
I mean, I hope so. I hope we can see Lewis on the podium. I think with the Ferraris, they're brilliant in terms of their pace sometimes in the qualies, but the race, it's unreliable still, you know. They've had a couple of years where tactically they've been poor, but also they've just not got the reliability, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I'm actually not really a massive fan of Carlos Sainz, even though I've given him a podium here. I think they could do better Ferrari, if I'm honest. I've not been impressed by him. I've not been like, wow, this kid's special.
For sure. We're going to talk about Ferrari. Let's just read through some of the chats. Tina says it's a historic track and a historic place. It absolutely is. Everybody loves this race. Tiz says, big up the panel, Ethan. Tina says, Alonso is 42 years old and still gives younger drivers a run for their money. M23 Gaming says, qualifying was very entertaining yesterday. Alonso continuing his resurgence. Alpine showing signs of improvement. Mercedes, are they back? Red Bull car sees God. Clarence says, Checo is a clown. Gave the whole world a good look at the RB19 floor. Tiz says, can you see Lewis going to Ferrari realistically? I can't see that.
This is interesting because on the sprint Baku with me and Matisse, we're talking about Lewis's future, and I said I'll be very surprised if he retires without racing for Ferrari.
Really?
Because he's one of the best, and they've all done it. Senna, Schumacher, he's right up there with them, in my opinion, in terms of historic drivers.
Yeah.
I'll be amazed if he doesn't go to Ferrari, or at least consider it before he retires. And straight away, that come up, and I thought, wow, I didn't see it coming this year or next year, but it wouldn't surprise me if he does do that, look back at his career and goes, McLaren, Mercedes and now Ferrari.
Yeah.
And I'm up there with Schumacher and with Senna and with Vettel and all the greats. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he does.
Okay. He also says, thoughts on the new McLaren livery. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool. They've put it together from the three different races of the Triple Crown. You had the McLaren livery from, I think it was 1981 or 84, whenever it was the first time Prost won it, and then their Indianapolis 500 livery from the 70s, and then the Le Mans livery from the McLaren from 1995. So to put the three of those cars kind of together in the one livery, I think was really cool. They came out really well. It's an absolute looker on track as well, to be honest.
I've liked some of the livery changes that we've seen. Who was it in Miami? Was it the Red Bull?
The Red Bull,
Red Bull looked great. I loved it. I really did love it. We are on the way for the formation lap. We're just having a bit of an issue with our TV, but I do have it right here. So the formation lap, the cars are coming out right now. Toffee says, watching this race before the massive Bournemouth game today, expect the race to be a ball fest, easy win for Max. Richard says, have a feeling that the race will be fun and interesting. Amir says, Verstappen will not, in capital letters, win. He will crash his car. Shout out Alonso to win. M23 Gaming says, hope Max spins it in the first corner and it causes a safety car, and Alonso goes on to win it with Hamilton in the podium. Ayush says, where is Matisse? Matisse is busy because obviously today is jam-packed. It's the last day of the football season as well, so Matisse is on other things today. Not sure why, because Chelsea have been dreadful.
I think I'd rather watch the Monaco Grand Prix than Chelsea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, back to what we were talking about beforehand with qualifying. It was a really good Q1 session. The time to the drivers was constantly changing. Lewis Hamilton had that slide, didn't he? And he had to really kind of push hard to get out of the drop zone on that final lap. What are the upgrades, Colin, that we're seeing to the Mercedes?
Well, it's visually very different. After reintroducing new side pods to their car, and I seen a top-down photo the other day where it kind of looks like the top of the car now, the way the top of the side pod comes in, it's like the Ferrari now. So I think they're starting to look at what Ferrari and Red Bull are doing and trying to replicate that with their own car.
It's quite a big move, isn't it? Because they were so adamant with like their version of the side pods, and obviously we know they had the porpoising issue all last season, and to kind of backtrack and basically redo a whole new car. And model it off of, Red Bull, and essentially like the most successful car on the track at the moment. That's quite a big move for Mercedes to do, and such a big upgrade as well.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season there was a lot of talk of that the Ferrari would realise this kind of zero side pod idea they had going on in their car wasn't going to work. So yeah, big thing to do for the team, and obviously they've been working on it for the last couple of months. So yeah, hopefully it'll start paying off. It's strange that they decided to introduce it in Monaco, but yeah, we'll see if it can pay off for them during the race.
Okay, well, we are underway. We are racing in Monaco. Just having a look at that first turn. Turn 1 looks to be okay. There's a little bit. Just having a little look at what's going on. No issues there. It is a green flag. So we are racing, and we're going to keep an eye on everything that's going on. Carlos Sainz, as you mentioned, you feel, Dan, that he's do you think he's a disappointment in terms of Ferrari? But then you look at the issues that Ferrari have got and their own technical failures, and I guess kind of their strategic moves. I don't think you can really pin it all on Sainz, because if you look at Leclerc, he's suffering kind of the same fate.
Yeah, listen, in terms of the two drivers, I think Leclerc is levels above Carlos Sainz, in my opinion. But I do look at the Ferrari issues and just think that, some of that is affecting both drivers. Carlos Sainz showed a lot of promise for me in the McLaren, but since he's gone there, I don't know, I feel like he's the one I look at, and I'm still waiting for him to blossom. And I've not seen that enough in the last couple of seasons. It could come. He's not an old driver, but for me, I just look at Leclerc and see a much better, more exciting driver. Carlos Sainz, whenever he's had opportunities, he's either not quite managed to get it across the line. He's dipped in the last kind of few races of times where he's had a chance to either get a podium or win the race. So I don't know. I'm expecting to see more from Carlos Sainz, to be fair. But I have tipped him for a podium today. I think he's got it. He should have it in the bag for me today. He's in a circuit which I think he can get right. It's a very difficult circuit for overtaking. He sees himself in fourth. I think he can push for the podium today, man.
Okay, just having a quick look at what's been going on. So Perez, Zhou Guanyu and Hülkenberg all decided to pit and change tyres on that first lap. What is the thinking behind that, Quaylen?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, why they pit so early, unless they just seen an advantage in it. What they could be trying to do is, thinking about it, is I remember last year, I think in Melbourne, Alex Albon did something very similar under an early safety car, and he went the whole race on the hard tyre. So maybe that's the thinking they have into it, that there'll be a later safety car, and when everybody else pits, then they'll make up the positions and they'll be able to bring it home, because it's very low deg with the tyres here. So
yeah, I mean, Max had a great start. I mean, off no real challenge there from Alonso on turn 1. There is an issue though with Lance Stroll. He has got damage to the car and he has got a puncture. So again, I mean, he was towards the back of the grid anyway. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. But there was no safety car, so it's an interesting thought really that they did that. But maybe we'll see here what happened with Stroll. Now in 17th place, into where that puncture was picked up. Did he hit the wall?
Oh, he's got one. That was a never there, was it? Was that gap there? I'm not so sure.
Not so sure. He was squeezed very tightly there.
Still trying as well. He's pit again. Where's he going?
He's never going to go around the outside of the
No, I don't know what his thinking is there. I don't know what his thinking is
going around
there.
the outside.
They're all hitting each other around the
on the hair.
I laugh at that in the F1 game, because when they all slow down there, because the cars go so slow, I know in the game, but it's in real life too, they actually throw out the yellow flag in the game. And it always catches me out, because I wonder what's happened, but nothing's happened.
Logan Sargent here. Look,
Logan Sargent hit. Hulkenberg was hit. Okay,
it's like bumper cars around the chicanes.
Yeah. Close. Wow. Oh, coming out the pit lane. That was really, really close for Zhou Guanyu.
That's got to be scary, man. I can't lie. That's got to be scary in that pit lane when you see that in front of you. Yeah,
Sergio Perez, he's up to 18th. He's just set the fastest lap so far. Max looks well and away. Alonso with 2 odd seconds behind him. Right, let's talk about what else happened. A bad day for Haas actually yesterday in qualifying. Magnussen and Hulkenberg were out in Q1. What is the realistic expectation we're thinking for Haas at the moment? Because there's a lot of movement kind of in that mid-table. You know, McLaren haven't obviously been...
There's a penalty for Hulkenberg there.
Oh, there's a 5-second penalty.
5-second penalty for Hulkenberg. Was that for the last Stroll thing?
I guess so. Maybe pushed too tight.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, causing a collision from
Wow.
Hülkenberg.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, for Haas, like, where do we really expect them to kind of finish in the constructors?
I don't know about you, Quillen. I mean, I love Gunther, by the way. He's absolutely hilarious.
I
love
think
him.
he's great.
I think he's a legend.
I need to read his book when it comes out.
Oh, what a hero he is. But for me, I thought they started the season like more promising than they ended last season's. But they got to be looking at that mid-table to try and get as close up there as they can, haven't they? They've got to try and compete with the likes of the McLarens, etc. That's where they got to be trying to target. Realistically, you have to understand that there's probably 3 cars at least more than that are better than them. But that's what they've got to try and be, is try to cement their kind of, we are the 4th best team. That's what I think everyone else's aim has to be. Because for me, you've got the Mercs, you've got the Ferraris, you've got the Red Bulls. I don't think that there's potentially anybody else that can say they're in that other than Aston Martin now. So they've got to try to compete with them, I suppose. Haas. That's what everyone should be doing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? McLaren's, the AlphaTauri as well. So they've all got to try to get to that kind of bracket for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because it's quite a jam-packed midfield. And also when you look at the resurgence of Aston, you know, they're going to be right up there. I mean, for me, it's not so much, I feel like it's not so much of an issue for Red Bull because they're so far away. But when you think of the likes of Mercedes or Ferrari, that really kind of adds another thing to the mix in terms of where they can finish in the constructors as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think there's always been 2 or 3 teams, hasn't there? You know, over the years, you look at 2 or 3 teams fighting.
Well, the most dominant 3 would always be Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari.
Exactly that. And, you know, years ago it was McLaren, Ferrari and Williams.
Yeah.
It just completely changes, doesn't it, each time? But now we've seen consistently those 3 teams. So for me, if I'm the others, I'm looking at the, you know, Williams, Alfa Romeo, the Astons, all the others, and obviously the Haas as well, thinking how can we try and get to their level? Because they're the 3 teams to beat. And I think Aston have taken a massive leap this season and shown that they've got the pace to compete in some of the races. It's just a shame that Alonso's not managed to, at the moment anyway, get close to what looks like a very comfortable race for Max at the moment.
Yeah, as usual, very, very comfortable race. I think if you give Max any type of an inch, he will absolutely take the mile. Just looking at everyone's tyres, Max is leading the way. He's on the mediums. We've got a very big mixture of hard. All the ones at the back are on hard. I assume that is obviously strategic, so they can keep going for longer. But the Williams have had a good start today, 15th and 13th. Whether or not they'll stay there is another thing. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. He's building up that gap, Max, at the front, which is always good for me to see.
I'm sure you're happy with that.
I am. I really am. If you could pick a track to race on, what would you pick, guys?
Silverstone.
All
day long.
I'd probably go Spa.
I love Spa. I love Spa as well. My 2 favourites.
Amazing circuit.
Why is that your favourite?
It's just it's like a combination of like old school circuits. You know, you've the long straights, the really quick twisting corners, and it's kind of like Eau Rouge and Radillon. It's kind of like, it's almost like a hark back to the earlier days where it was a little bit more dangerous and maybe a little bit more exciting, let's say.
Eau Rouge is class, man.
Yeah,
I can't lie.
it's incredible.
So you wouldn't go for a street circuit?
Not for me.
No.
I mean, you've got Singapore, you've got here, but I get it. I understand it's different.
I think Baku would be good fun maybe, but that'd be the only one really.
Yeah, I mean, I think this, for me, it's simple because I'm patriotic and I'm going to be biased. I go there every year. But I just think if you're in a Formula 1 car, you're going down Copse, you're going into Maggots and Beckett's, you're going down Hanger Straight, you're going into Stowe Corner, Club Corner. What a track that is, man.
That's the exact reason why I picked Spa when you have Eau Rouge and Banshee Mountain.
And I get that, because Spa's my second favourite. Yeah. I'm totally with you, bro. I think those 2 circuits for me, they stick out. I think Melbourne, for obvious reasons, is obviously one that people talk about, but for me, it wouldn't beat those 2.
More a traditional track kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Monza is one that people love. I get why. But yeah, no, I'm not really a massive fan of desert tracks, if I'm honest. It's just sand everywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? I know it sounds harsh, but it's just, they're not my favourite ones. If I'm talking about racing myself, I can't look past Silverstone, man.
Yeah.
What about you?
I really like Abu Dhabi. I know that you don't like the desert ones, but I do. I really like Abu Dhabi. I really like Melbourne as well. But I agree. I like the European races as well. I do.
Interlagos is another one. Brazil, I think that would be class. But
Oh,
again,
yeah.
that would be class.
Yeah.
Interlagos in Brazil.
I do like Monza.
Yeah,
I think
Monza's
Monza's probably
class.
up there as well. Okay, so Esteban Ocon, he's maintaining third currently as it is. I mean, he has got a pretty big gap to what's going on at the top. But, I mean, a brilliant day, isn't it? Because Alpine kind of got off to a bit of a rocky start this season, you know, especially with the changes that they made with Gasly, with Gasly and Ocon, the new partnership. But maybe at this point, we're going to start to see them actually build and create that good partnership in that midfield and be kind of best of the rest type of thing.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both drivers, I can't lie. I think Gasly was treated a little bit harshly, in my opinion. I don't think that... I understand it's ruthless, and when he was at Red Bull, it wasn't working for him. But since he's gone, I think he's been laughing because actually he's been proving that he is a good young up-and-coming driver.
Do you think that the stakes are just too high at Red Bull?
I think so. It's different, isn't it? It's a difference. There was so much pressure at Red Bull, and this is the thing with these drivers. You've got to understand as well that there's great drivers that are elite, like the Max Verstappens and the Lewis Hamiltons of this world. But you've also got to be a good number 2 driver.
Yeah,
like for me,
it's weird because it's such an individual sport, but it's also such a team sport.
It is massive. Like Perez is a great number 2.
Yeah.
Mark Webber was a great number 2. Yeah, Rubens Barrichello was a fantastic number 2 for Michael Schumacher. People forget that how good these drivers are. What's his name for Alfa Romeo now? Bottas. He was brilliant number 2 for Lewis.
Yeah.
So you know you've got that. Sometimes you get the clash, don't you? Like we had with Nico Rosberg and Lewis those times. We had it with Vettel and Mark Webber, if you remember, a few years ago. They were really going at each other. But number 2 drivers are a lot to say, and I think with Gasly, they give him a bit of a chance, didn't they? Christian Horner, I remember talking about it in the Drive to Survive, but it was never really going to make work for him, and now it hasn't. And you know he's now at a team which I think he can prove himself at. You know, I like Ocon as well. I think Ocon, when he was at Force India, was another one who looked to be a racing point when he was there. Looked to be decent. So yeah, I like both drivers, man. I can't lie.
Yeah, I think they're definitely a good partnership. And I see why they did what they've done with kind of the reband. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Sherry says he wants the rain to come sooner on the track. I don't, because I don't want a red flag.
No, but it could make it interesting. Rain always does, in terms of strategy, pit stops, and obviously making the track more difficult. But I don't know how the harsh reality of that. Is there going to be rain today? What's the percentage? Is it like...
There was rain on its way. So there was.
Don't know
Rain
what
on
lap,
its
though.
way. Well, so far so good. We're 11 laps in, and we've had no flags so far. It's been pretty clean of a race. We haven't seen much movement either, at all.
No, not at all. It's a difficult track, man, for overtaking. It really is. Does anyone know where the actual overtaking corners on the track?
Oh.
Where's he going there?
Sainz.
He has completely lost his mind
That could
there.
have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
I mean, that was brave or stupid. I don't know.
We may need some subtitles actually for our TV, so we can actually
I think subtitles would be good if we can
subtitles
get that.
would be good if we can get those.
How does that work?
So we can read what's going
Check
on.
if
But
there's
yeah, that
any
was
radios.
a bit concerning there from Carlos Sainz. It looked like it kind of clipped.
Has he
the
got
front.
damage there to his wing? Because
He's got damage to the wing.
to his wing there. I
Oh, we
mean,
jinxed
what
it.
is he
Well,
doing
how
there?
is
Oh,
he could get the black and orange flag for this. Like, do you remember Magnussen last year? He kept dinging his wing.
Yeah,
And
it is. Well, they've got one
there we
prepared
go,
pit
yeah.
stop.
Yeah, one prepared.
Well, that could be his podium done there, because that for me is a madness. I
Yeah.
don't know. That was never on, was it? That was
I don't
never
never
on.
ever on. For me, the only place I can see that there's a kind of like a DRS zone is through the tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where else have you got any type of space to overtake?
The only
Towards the end of the
DRS,
track. That's literally it, isn't it?
The only DRS area you have here is on the main straight.
On the main straight.
But
There you
usually,
go.
like we just seen Sainz try to do, a lot of the overtakes will be out of the tunnel because you get the run
Into
on
that chicane, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, well, there is a yellow flag at the moment because of that collision. Carlos Sainz will be coming into the pit, I assume, any minute to get a new front wing, but it was really poor decision making from
Really
that.
bad decision making.
Really, really bad.
But good for Lewis. So
Yeah, it's a really good move for Lewis. It's also good for Leclerc because that's going to set Sainz back quite some way. M23 Gaming says Toto did say that he doesn't care about how it's done as long as he keeps up with the Red Bull car in an interview. Hopefully we can truly see some pace from the Merc. Have we seen anything yet from the Mercedes? I mean, it's such
They've
a hard
tried,
track to judge, isn't it?
yeah, they've tried everything, Mercedes, this year to try and catch up it's been 2 seasons pretty much now where they've been nowhere near, in my opinion, and it's really frustrating. But nah, I haven't seen it yet. I think we've seen glimpses, if I'm honest, from Mercedes this season, but nothing that I can have any confidence of them winning any races this year. I can't lie to you. That Red Bull just is ridiculous in comparison to it. It really is.
These new upgrades, I don't think, like, I can understand why they brought them in Monaco. You want to get the upgrades on as fast as you can, obviously, but I think it could take till maybe Spain next weekend till we properly see on a proper circuit what these upgrades are capable of.
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, one of my friends just texted me and said they need to stop racing in Monaco. The cars are too big now for the track.
Wow, yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. It has changed since the
old days.
60s, 70s and 80s, but yeah, I mean, it's such heritage, isn't it? I understand why they're continuing with it. I think it must be frustrating on that point from Toto. He must be thinking, well, how are they so much better than us now when we were head to toe with them like only sort of 18 months or so ago. But I do feel personally like Red Bull are just too good. Sometimes you've just got to take it slow and just accept this season it might not work and try to look towards it. I think you get towards Silverstone onwards and those that aren't really fighting are then starting to look for next season anyway, aren't they? So
yeah.
I think you'll find that with Mercedes in a few races' time.
Yeah, just to also let you guys know that there was an issue with an incident with George Russell for an incorrect starting position. He was not given a penalty. He wasn't given a penalty for it. So that's happened. Apex says Aston Martin might pull off a strategic masterclass today. Buffalo says that is what it's all about on this course. Can't overtake, that's for sure. It's all about the pit stops. Do you think that's going to be a big factor today?
Yeah, I mean, pit stops are always a massive factor in races and strategy can change. I think we've already seen towards the back of the grid the fact that they've all gone the hards to try and see what they can do. Obviously, Perez being one of those. I still think, although it's very, very difficult to overtake, that he should be looking in terms of his car to be trying to get as close as he can to those points, and I still think he could do that. A lot can happen. We've seen already mistakes from Sainz, and we've seen people hit walls over the weekend, so I expect that to happen. I don't know when, but yeah, it could change anything in terms of strategies and pit stops for sure, man.
I actually seen a tweet this morning. I think it was 1996 was the last time that there was a proper pass for the lead at Monaco that wasn't in the pit lane.
Wow.
Really?
I don't know if it's true or not, but supposedly so.
Just saw another replay of that Carlos Sainz incident, and I don't know what he was trying to do there. Go around the outside.
It's never on. I don't know what he's thinking. It makes absolutely no sense.
Maybe break himself a little bit, maybe.
Yeah,
possibly.
I mean, he's still yet to come in and pit, but there we see it there, the debris flying
on
off.
the track now. You don't want to be running over that, really.
No, you don't.
I'd say that's what that yellow flag was for.
Just as both of them.
Will we see him get any type of a penalty for that? I feel like they love to give penalties to Sainz.
They do, yeah. They seem to. I mean, listen, he's got to have a word of himself. I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah.
Like, hold your position. You're in a great position. You've got a great opportunity. You're flying down. I understand there's an overtaking position opportunity there, right? I get it, but that was never on.
Yeah.
That was never on. So
A bit of a careless move.
yeah, big time. He'll regret that for sure because there was no need for that. Absolutely no need for that. Now he's damaged his wing. It's crazy.
Amir says Alonso had reported front tyre damage, but the engineers see nothing in the data. And let's talk about Charles Leclerc, because yesterday he was under investigation for impeding Lando Norris. Doesn't look like there's been any issue. Nothing's really been made by the FIA. They were reviewing it, but clearly no penalty given.
Oh, they gave him the penalty in the end.
They did give him the penalty in the end. Okay, so what was the penalty?
It was late last night when it came out. It was dropped 3 positions from 3rd to 6th. So it's just that continuation of this Monaco curse for Charles Leclerc, unfortunately.
And it's his home track.
Yeah.
He loves this track, and a fair play to him. I must admit, when you asked me for positions, that's why I asked, because I didn't know if Leclerc had got that penalty or not. I was going to go for Leclerc for a podium, but I mean, it could still happen, don't get me wrong. Sainz has got his damage there now, but Ocon's looking pretty strong at the moment, I can't lie. It doesn't look like anyone's getting near him, so.
George Russell's been on the radio saying medium runners, they're complaining of graining on the tyres. Maybe we'll see. I mean, we're at lap 16. I mean, we've got a lot of laps to go. A lot of laps to go.
We have.
When do you reckon next pit will be?
Do you reckon, Quellen? Do you reckon for first pit stop on this 78 lap race?
It's hard to tell. The guys on the hard tyres, I won't be surprised if they put it to lap 40 or lap 50 even.
Agreed.
Because you could do that on a street circuit like this where there isn't much tyre wear. The medium runners, I'd say maybe mid-20s, early 30s even. if they can. A lot of them, like the guys here we see all in a bit of a bunch together, they'd be kind of just trying to go as slow as possible while sticking with each other to look after their tyres. So
Yeah, I was going to say 28 to 30, so I think we're on the same page there. I
Yeah.
think the hards, they'll go to, I mean, look at the circuit. They could go for a long time, couldn't they? Yeah, but yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what these races with the lack of overtaking do need, is when the pit stops start, you really start to see what strategies people are on, and that's what makes it interesting for me. If you add rain to that as well, around the time of the pits, I don't know, maybe so they can let us know in the chat what they're predicting for rain on what lap, because that could change a lot.
that'd be all about making the right call. It'd be down to the one driver that makes the right call.
100.
Right, it's a black and white flag
Carlos
for Carlos Sainz for causing a collision. What does that mean, Coylan?
So basically, a black and white flag is just something that the stewards put out to warn you of your driving. That's unsatisfactory, pretty much. I think there's a rule they brought in a few years ago where you can get, I think it's 2 black and white flags before you start running the risk of a disqualification, 2 or 3. Because I remember a few years ago, Leclerc was fighting with Hamilton for the lead at Monza, and he was given a black and white flag because he tried to push him off the track, basically. But he was able to keep going as long as he just calmed down a little bit. So it's just basically a warning. Tidy up your driving a little bit.
A little tap on the wrist. Just having a look at where this all is kind of bunched up at the minute. All the bunching up is really from kind of Alex Albon down. And we're seeing all the cars kind of there. They can't seem to, obviously you can't overtake. So, but Perez is still setting the fastest lap, and I guess that's all he's kind of got for today in terms of what the best he can do, unless there is some type of a safety car.
Yeah, Perez I expect him to be putting out fast laps down there. I expect him to be fighting for his life to try and get in there. That's an overtake though. Is that Stroll?
Oh, we have an overtake, and it is Stroll, and
Perez.
there is Perez. So they have managed to find it.
They've done Sargent in the Williams.
Yeah, so we see Perez, he only moves up
Now
one.
looks like Joe's going to go for him as well.
Yeah, Logan Sargent. What have you made of him? Obviously, it's his kind of rookie. What is his rookie season? Are you disappointed, or like, what is your expectation for Williams?
Oh man, it's hard to judge in the car.
I'd say it's more competitive this year than it's been for a very long time.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's that is fair. I haven't seen anything to make me go wow yet, but maybe it's harsh for his first year. He's a young kid, isn't he? So maybe it's harsh. I haven't seen anything. Do you know much more about him? It's Logan Sargent.
Well, I remember him in F3 and F2. Fantastic driver. You know, he was a championship contender when he was in F3, and in F2 he was really good driver as well. So I don't know. It's tricky. It's like the Vries here. You know, they've after doing circuits like Miami and Jeddah where they've never raced before in F2. So it's only really these European races, Monaco, Spain circuits they're used to, that we properly see what they're capable of.
Yep. We were just looking at that overtake there. Straight as you come out of the tunnel, right?
That was the back
No,
straight.
that was
that was the back straight.
Entry,
Yeah, the hairpin.
Just having a look at these two.
Fair play.
Nice there. I mean, we
On
actually
Albon.
haven't seen Max or Alonso or Ocon.
Look how far ahead he is. Is that 8 seconds?
8 seconds.
I mean, wow.
It's an 8-second gap.
This is going to take something, a miracle really, for Alonso to win
And
this.
honestly, unless he puts it in the wall, then Max is done. And that's the thing. We barely see Max during we barely see Max during a race because he's so far ahead of everybody. As soon as you give him that little extra mile, and on a track like this, it's so difficult.
It's a shame we've got Perez and maybe Alonso, but other than that, it's just not looking like anyone's going to get close to him, does it? He's just ridiculously good, man. It's scary.
Well, what do you think in terms of the constructors then? Obviously, Red Bull, or do you think there could be an Aston?
Red Bull, I don't see anyone getting near them. I just think they're ridiculously good. I think they've got it spot on for 2 years now. Well, to be fair, 3 years. And I just don't see the Aston. It might win a couple of races. I really want Alonso to win a race. I really want him to win a couple of races. I think, as we said earlier, I think he's so good as a driver. And I think what I like about drivers like that, like Alonso, is I hated him when he was at Renault and Ferrari. I was like, don't like this guy. Like,
he's a driver you never really like.
Yeah, and now I love him. I'm like, why do I love this? Why did I hate this guy? Do you know what I mean? And I think we always, in Formula One, it's funny because people hate Lewis Hamilton because he's so good. People hate Max because he's so good. People hated Alonso because he's so good.
Yeah.
Schumacher likewise. Vettel likewise. actually, you need to appreciate how many great drivers we've seen in the last 20 years. It's just been exceptional. Like, you know, to see these guys winning 4 or 5 world championships, 7 in Lewis's case, 7 in Schumacher's case, just incredible, really. You know, I started watching in like '94 when Senna died, and I look at it now and think how many great drivers we've seen in that time. It's just been incredible, it really has.
Yeah, well, we've just seen Alex Albon drop from, I think he was 12th at one point or 13th, and he's now dropped to 20th. I assume that's potentially an issue with the car at that point. But that has pushed Sergio Perez up to 16th, Lance Stroll 15th, Magnussen 14th, Bottas 13th, De Vries 12th, and Piastri is 11th. I do feel, though, that the McLarens do need to be doing more. I think it's been really disappointing so far.
Yeah, I really love Lando.
I love Lando.
Lando.
I think I can see him at I keep saying I can see him at Mercedes.
I'd love Lando to go on and do so well. I think his character's fantastic. I do really rate him. McLaren, I love them. They used to be my team. I used to absolutely love everything about them. They've disappointed me this year. I can't lie. They've done nothing, in my opinion. They've done nothing to progress from last season, have they?
No.
Do you think?
Well, that's the funny thing about this year. We were talking about Red Bull a minute ago. Like, I remember 2014 when you had the change in the engine regulation. Everybody was kind of everywhere and Mercedes dominated because they weren't used to it. 15 and 16 then you had Ferrari come back, you had Red Bull come back because everybody had an idea of what they were doing. This year, you know, last year again, a bit all over the place, new regulations. But this year, everybody else has fallen off. Like McLaren upgrading last year, getting better and better, they've fallen off. You've Aston Martin come through, but Ferrari's fallen off, Mercedes has fallen off again. It's really strange. Red Bull haven't made a massive jump. They've just evolved the car, and everybody else has kind of went backwards.
I agree with that. I don't think Red Bull have taken a huge leap. I think the others have just got worse, it seems.
Well, I think it's just gradual, isn't it? Obviously, we now have the cost cap. So, well, whether or not people actually abide by the cost cap or not. But I think that the whole point of it is that to maybe make this more competitive. It's going to take a long time. But when you've had cars like the Red Bull, the Mercedes or the Ferrari or the Aston having so much more money than everyone else, and then you look at teams like Williams, Haas, I mean, even Alpha Tauri to an extent, or Alfa Romeo, you know, it just makes it less competitive because they haven't been able to compete. Until they obviously inevitably get bought by Audi, then that will help them. But it would be great, and this is where we always go back to. We'd love to see people all be able to race at the exact same level. But if you put Alex Albon in a Red Bull, is he going to do the same job that Max Verstappen can do? If you put Max Verstappen in a Williams, will he also be, you know, 10 seconds ahead?
There's definitely brackets and levels to drivers. Like I said earlier, there's a great number 2 driver and there's a great number 1 driver. And I think we've got 3 or 4 here that I look at as top quality. Alonso's one of them, Verstappen's another, Lewis is another, and I would put Leclerc in there. I think if he had a reliable car, I'd probably say that George Russell is the one that has really impressed. I think he's definitely been able to compete with Lewis in that Mercedes. But if you're asking if Alex Albon is going to do a job in a Red Bull, I'm going to say no, because he was already there and he couldn't. And I don't think that guy is bad, but I don't think he's at that level. There's definitely brackets of drivers. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Gold Coast Black Star says Lewis needs to leave Mercedes and go to Ferrari to get number 8. I don't think, though, in terms of looking at the cars, I don't think there's much difference. I really don't. I mean, I'd love to see him in a Ferrari, but at the same time, if you're going to go anywhere, you have to go somewhere that's a level up. If he's going to, you know...
If he wants number 8, he's got to go to Red Bull.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
That's it. What about Max and Lewis in the same car?
I'd love to see that, man.
It wouldn't happen.
It would be horrendous for both of them, but it would be brilliant for us.
Yeah, it would be. As a viewer, it would be amazing, but I can't see that ever happening.
Your team principal's nightmare.
Christian Horner, you think he wants Lewis Hamilton? No.
I love Christian Horner.
No, I can't stand
I
him.
love him. I love that he's always on the case with Toto, and for years he was like, he'd call the FIA.
Wind people up.
He's the biggest crybaby.
Yeah, but I actually think they all are. The second that something happens, they're all on the phone, they're all crying.
For sure, but this guy is incredible, isn't he? I mean, wow, the guy is... I mean, seeing it live when I went to Silverstone the year that Max got taken out by Lewis, and I thought he was actually going to cry on the tannoy. It was just embarrassing. I was like, this guy's actually got tears in his eyes. I mean, to be fair to Max, they went on and won the title that year, but to win the championship that year was a bit of a nightmare. Can you imagine, like, let me ask you this, can you imagine if that was the other way around that year and Lewis won that, but the way it was? This guy would be crying now.
Of course.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
it wasn't?
And Toto just gets on with it because he's actually mature. You know what I'm saying?
He's also a billionaire.
It is, I'm trying to wind up.
He's also, I can't actually quite believe that he owns,
I know.
I mean, he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I do love that. What I miss the most about Toto is the way he says Valtteri.
Yeah.
Valtteri.
What an accent.
What an accent. What a great accent. Pyramid says the issue with Sargent is people expect him to be like Norris, Leclerc, Russell and Verstappen as rookies. Expectations are too high. Ching, that's a fair point.
I do, but at the same time, Fernando Alonso was in a Minardi and you could tell how good he was in 2003. Likewise, Danny Ricciardo was in a Minardi and looked good. So sometimes you can see Kimi Räikkönen was in a Sauber when he joined, and I was like, this kid's good.
Yeah.
Juan Pablo Montoya was in a Williams, and you could tell he was going to be top. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you can tell sometimes.
Did you ever see that video of Suzuka with Alonso and the Minardi? I think it was like free practice, and he was just on fire.
Exceptional.
Just, yeah.
So that's what I mean. When you see talent, you see talent. And I'm not saying that Logan Sargent isn't good enough. I'm just saying, will he hit the levels of those names? Yet to see it.
Well, also with Sargent, I mean, he's the one that's 28, right? He's the
That's
older.
De Vries.
That's De Vries,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, Nick De Vries. But I would say out of the rookies that have started this season, Piastri, De Vries, Sargent, who's your favourite? Probably Piastri?
Yeah.
None of them have set the world on fire.
But Piastri, because of what he did before, not really what he's done in Formula One. I wouldn't say there's one of those three that you go, wow, like he's on top out of them three. Is that harsh?
No, I don't think so. Like you said, Piastri, I have to say, he was really good in Formula 2. But again, he's come into F1, like you said, he hasn't really set the world alight. And especially Piastri, he was with Alpine all last year.
And especially everything that happened last year.
Yeah.
You know, the way that he did them so dirty with that move, in my opinion, I think it was just very
The fact that you had teams like that fighting for you, yeah.
Yeah, it was just very unsportsmanlike, and what they did at Alpine, and the fact they got him, I think it came with more expectation, in my opinion, to have such a shrewd move happen, but then again, it's the car.
Yeah, that's
It is
it.
the car. Ayush says, how many titles do you see Max winning?
So it's really hard to see how long the Red Bull can be this good for, but at the moment it doesn't look like it's going to drop off. It would not surprise me if Max Verstappen is in the same bracket as the Schumachers and the Lewis Hamiltons of this world. I'm not saying he's going to win 7, but it looks like he's going to win 3 in a row, so he's halfway there nearly. Is the Red Bull going to drop off like perhaps the Mercedes has, or the McLaren did years ago, or the Williams did? I don't know that yet, but at the moment, if you say to me in 5 years' time, Verstappen's won 8 in a row, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm shocked, because they look ridiculously good, man.
Yeah, they do. Let's see how long they can dominate for. We're 27 laps in, 27 of 78. The weather, there just was a weather update. Looks like the rain is coming, but not for about another 45 minutes. So it'll probably be right at the crunch
That's
time.
going to be towards like lap 60 onwards.
Yeah, we're going to be towards the end of the race when that rain hits. So that could be extremely interesting. Knowing us, we'll probably get a red flag like with 3 laps to go or something like that. But it is still Max firmly in the lead. There are complaints of graining on the tyres. What causes the graining, Lorcan?
It's just basically, running the tyres for so long, you're picking up the different stuff that does be on the circuit and that, and then the tyre itself is wearing down really, and it causes this kind of, like they said, graining. It's an effect on the top of the tyres that takes away your grip, and it runs through the tyre and just gradually makes it worse.
I went go-karting yesterday, totally off topic, but I just think, I was thinking to myself, like, it's a proper workout. I feel like going go-kart. My whole body hurts today. I was thinking, like, imagine driving that.
No.
Must be knackered after it.
Then don't Formula One drivers lose like a stone of weight every race?
Something like that,
Something mad like
I was
that.
actually on Friday watching the practice, and they had the Alex Albon's helmet cam on, and it was literally all you could see was him like this, and his head was everywhere, and like that was just one lap. Could you imagine after like 78 laps straight?
It must kill you.
Yeah.
Absolutely must kill your body. Sainz didn't come in and pit after.
They tell him to stay out.
Yeah, they told him to stay out. He didn't come in and fix the front wing. Why is that they've decided to do that?
I guess they don't see that there's been any performance issues from him since he's lost that part of his front wing. I think when you see it, you get out there and rush out quick because you think the damage is worse. But to be fair, he's kept his position. He's not needed to come in. I can't see that there's any difference between what he was doing before or after. Hamilton's still 2 seconds behind him. So yeah, I think they've just decided to let him crack on.
Yeah, well, it's another strategic decision, isn't it? Just having a look at Max coming through now.
That's a good example of graining.
What's he complaining on? Can
The
anyone
front
read
left
that?
really isn't pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the front left.
You can see it, to be fair. Look at that dark
Yeah.
line there across the tyre. You can see it. But I think most of them have got that now, haven't they?
Yeah.
On this lap, you know, they're on
You'd
lap
expect that so
29.
far
I said
in,
between
yeah.
28 and 35 they'd be coming in, so I
Yeah,
imagine
you'd
we're
think
about
so.
right.
You think so, but it's an average of around 19 seconds lost every, from the pits. Yeah, there was actually a comment here. Tiz said hard tyre pit window is around 53 to 58. We're still a long way off of that. It's a lot of laps, this track. It really is. Apex says Max and Lewis's teammates would be like Senna and Prost.
Yeah.
Ephraim says Toto owns a third of Mercedes, a third of Aston, whilst also, just didn't know he owned Aston, whilst also owning some of the Ineos, so benefits from Sir Jim Ratcliffe buying United. Buffalo said, I'm here for having some more rain. Let's make it more interesting. I tell you what we haven't done. We haven't actually had our French foods. I don't really know if strawberries are French, to be fair. I think they're just global.
We'll go with it.
But we've tried to go for it. So we have got some Prosecco. Is it French, though? I think, no, it's Italian.
Oh, well.
It's
We'll
Italian.
just pretend it's French.
Close to the Italian Riviera.
Yeah, we're
Monaco,
close
so.
to
There we
it.
go. Yeah, we'll take
Anyone
that.
else would like some
Go on,
Prosecco?
I'll love one, please. Go on. Thanks, Abs.
Kylan,
Yeah, we'll say no.
have a little bit of Italian Prosecco, but we'll just say it's French.
Have you ever heard an Irishman say no to alcohol?
Where in Ireland?
very true,
Where in
man.
Ireland are you from?
I'm from County Meath. I'm about an hour away from Dublin.
I'd like to go to Ireland.
I'd love to go to Dublin in particular. I can't lie, I've not been.
No, same. I really want to go. Really want to.
Biggest country in the world, isn't it? Because it keeps doubling and doubling and doubling.
I might
It must
use
be
that.
quality though, right? Dublin.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a good night.
What's the
life, innit?
comparisons to London and Dublin?
Probably much nicer than London.
No, to be honest, well, I don't know. In terms of the transport and that, thank you. In terms of the transport and that, Dublin is or London
Cheers,
is
guys.
miles
Cheers,
down.
guys.
Cheers.
I imagine it's as expensive as London, right?
If not more.
Yeah.
If not more expensive. I hope everyone's having a nice bank holiday. Another bank holiday, by the way, which we love to see. We are on lap 30 now. It's been a pretty quiet race.
So far. I think the rain could change that. It depends when the rain comes. But I think we're going to see a pit stops from some people soon because, I mean, we're on lap 30 now.
Max will pit now because look, he's starting to catch the cars in front of him to lap them. So I'd say he'll pit to get out of the way.
Good
there.
shout. Good shout.
You won't want to get caught up in that.
Good strategy. I mean, how far is Alonso behind him? What is it?
9.
It's quite a big gap.
Too many. I mean, even behind that as well, look at Ocon, he's 17 seconds. But I mean, wow, this guy is absolutely flying, isn't he, Verstappen? It's just easy for him.
Wow,
That's
those
why he'll
strawberries
want to
are
pit now because the more time he spends behind him going slowly, the more time Alonso can make up on him.
Yeah, man, it's looking good for Max, I can't lie. It's looking good. What do you guys think of DRS, by the way? Do you like it?
I love it. When
Do
they
you
get in
like
that
it,
DRS mode.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm always one to say that I'd rather they race without it, but I can understand with the way the cars are why they have to have it. You know.
See, I'm gonna put an unpopular opinion out there. I don't like it, and I'll tell you
Why?
why. I understand that we want to see overtaking, right? Don't you feel like it's a little bit like cheating? It's like saying, I know you can't overtake him because you're not good enough, but just click that button and you'll just fly past him. See what I mean? I'm a bit harsh. Is that a bit harsh?
No,
Maybe it's a bit harsh, but
I wouldn't say you're wrong, no. I get where you're coming from.
I think that it takes a lot of the ability of the drivers away. I think we're just saying, click that button, your front, your rear wing will open and you'll just fly past. And I'm like, I'm all for overtaking, but is that right? Like,
Well, that's why these new rules were introduced, was to get rid of the likes of DRS and make it a lot easier to race each other, but it doesn't seem to have made much of a difference.
It hasn't. But at the same time, I quite like having it because it's like if you're driving in any car, if you've got a faster car, you're going to be able to overtake better.
oh, listen, I've got no doubt that if I was in a car, I'd love it, right?
Yeah.
But for the actual, if you look at the morally, is it right? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit of a goody two shoes. Lewis is coming in. Please have a good stop. Please have a good
Go
stop.
on, predict the time.
Please have a
0.2.
good stop.
That was quick.
3 seconds dead on. That's not bad.
Not
Seen
bad.
quicker though.
Seen quicker, not too bad.
Red Bull at once, man. It's like boom, boom, they go. You think, how do you?
They're
actually
so
do
on the
that?
ball
Like,
with everything they do.
yeah, I like what you did there. Red Bull are on the ball.
They're on the ball. Yep. Charles Leclerc, he's also on the radio. We haven't seen much of him either today.
No, it's one of those races, isn't it, where no one's really causing any drama for them to be highlighted on. I mean, for Verstappen and Alonso, how many times have you seen him in this race? Twice? 3 times? It's been one of those, hasn't it? It's been one of those. Am I missing something there? Is Alonso 3 seconds quicker now? Wasn't he 9 seconds behind him now?
Yeah, he was
6?
9, he's now 6.
What's that all about?
I'd say
then?
because Verstappen, you know, he's ahead in this little gaggle of cars. He probably
Good
got caught
shout.
up trying
He's
to
now
pass
been
them.
caught up by,
Yeah.
by the back markers. That's a fair point.
Yeah, just to confirm about the weather, there is the risk of the rain towards the end of the race. The teams are a bit worried about that.
Wow.
And what that could mean.
Have a
Ocon,
strawberry, why not?
Ocon, they're really nice.
Are they?
Yeah, like surprisingly really nice.
Mm.
Don't actually love strawberries, but they're very nice.
Really?
Yeah,
What's your favourite fruit if you could only pick one?
I'm really basic. I really like banana.
Okay.
I just really like banana. I feel like it's very
We won't
versatile.
move on there.
It's a very versatile fruit. Like you can have it in a protein shake. You can have it just normally. Gives you good
Wow.
energy. So you have it after the gym.
Bloody naked chef over here.
Yeah, you can have it in a smoothie. Every smoothie really needs a banana in it.
Mm.
You know, so I think a second would be like mango.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I'm like a kid. I like grapes.
Grapes.
Yeah, I love grapes.
Yeah, some people really like.
I like
grapes.
pineapple as well, but yeah, grapes.
Grapes me like jellies. If I start, I won't stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, grapes. I do like a grape. What's yours, Kylan? Grape.
Probably either grapes or oranges. Yeah.
Oranges.
Mm.
That's a bit of a rogue one. Perez on the radio. Stroll pushed me off the track. Did we all get a good look at what happened there?
No, I didn't actually. I've just seen the road play there.
I just seen it there a moment ago. Perez tried to go down the outside of him, or the inside of him, should I say, coming out of the tunnel, and Stroll just kind of turned in.
Carlos Sainz, he has come in now to pit. Will they be changing that front wing?
Oh, I couldn't see.
Couldn't see.
Couldn't see. Well, how long was the pit stop? Because that'll tell you.
Can't see. They're currently tracking the rain and seeing what's going on there. Don't know. We couldn't see how long. He's dropped down to 7th. Carlos 6th is 6th. So the grid is currently Sargent, Albon, poor day for the Williams, Zhou Guanyu, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Perez up to 15th, Magnussen, Bottas, De Vries, Piastri, Norris, Tsunoda, Hamilton, who just set the fastest lap, Carlos Sainz, Ocon, Russell, Gasly, Leclerc up to 3rd, Alonso and Max Verstappen.
That pit stop's helped Lewis out. It's a flying lap there, and he's literally taken about 6/10 off of Sainz already. So to be fair to him,
Tiz says his favourite fruit is watermelon.
good
Watermelon's
shout.
up there. It's a good
Good
shout.
shout.
It's a good
Yeah,
shout.
good shout.
It's only nice though in the summer.
Yeah, that's true.
It's only ripe in the summer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Buffalo loves smoothies. Think smoothies are great.
Especially with banana.
They are great with banana. Banana's just a great fruit.
There's not any fruit that I dislike actually.
Any fruit.
No.
You like every single fruit.
Yeah, there's not.
But some more than others. Oh.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. But you know when you get,
That was the.
what is
that,
that damage?
That was from Stroll.
Was that Verstappen's car?
No, that was
That's Perez.
Sergio Perez.
Oh, he's hit the back.
Pushed him out.
Of the Haas.
That's not Stroll. That's who's that in front? That's Perez's fault though.
That's a Haas he's after running into.
Let's have another look at that.
He's gone into the back of him. What the hell is
Yeah,
he doing?
Perez has gone into the back of the Haas. And it looked like Stroll picked up some of that damage. Hamilton still set the fastest lap. I mean, clearly the car is still drivable, you'd have to say.
Yeah, I don't know what.
These two are going toe to toe currently. Perez has dropped a place. He's dropped a little bit on sector 1 and 3.
Oh, look, front wing change.
Front wing
Okay,
change
so
for
Perez-
I was hoping he'd get away with it like Sainz did.
Yep. But he's come in and they're going to change the front wing.
This is his first stop though, right?
Second stop.
Oh, it's his second.
He
is it?
did the tyres early on.
Yeah, that's right. The start.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot of time.
He's not. Oh God.
Well,
he's
that's
not
a
had
long
good
pit.
Day. He's not had a good day, has he, Perez?
No, that's a long old pit.
He's not
That
had a good weekend.
11 seconds.
Considering how well he did here last year in the rain as well.
Yeah, he's now sandwiched as he comes out in between the two Williams. Oh no, he's actually now behind the Williams. Oh, he's back up again. I mean, he shouldn't. You'd expect him to kind of make up ground, wouldn't you?
Who do you think the best driver is in the wet?
Hamilton's obviously is very good in the wet.
Lewis is class.
And Alonso as well. To be honest, I don't know. There's nobody like Senna, for example, that used to be magical in the wet.
Ridiculous. He used to want it to rain, so that
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Carlos Sainz is not very happy with what's going on with the strategy. Again, there's always the questions over Ferrari and how they manage the strategy.
Last season was embarrassing at Monaco.
Was so
Absolutely
poor.
Embarrassing. Tactically, just clueless last year, in my opinion. Ferrari had so many opportunities to really push for a couple of races and just.
The one that made me laugh was Hungary last year when they sent Leclerc out in the hards. Cold circuit, cold day, cold race, nobody else in hards. Why would you do that?
That's schoolboy, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
absolute schoolboy. I didn't get any of that stuff, but they're a strange side. They've never been my favourite team, if I'm honest.
Never been your favourite team?
Over the years, they've had drivers that I was just like used to find them like unbelievable drivers, but yeah, Schumacher, Vettel, and Alonso. Like I said, I was always like, nah, I don't want them to win. I always wanted someone else. Do you know what I mean? Someone else away from Ferrari. I never liked Ferrari, but I could see why people did because they were incredible. I mean, when Schumacher was there, it was just scary how good he was. Really, absolutely mental. It was like every single weekend. Oh, he's won it again.
Yeah, I mean, Max, he's 7 seconds ahead. We were thinking he was going to pit, but we're yet to see that.
We are.
I'm surprised. I thought he would have pit when he got up to them cars, but he cleared them quick enough, so yeah, why not keep going?
Yeah, there's another 42 laps to go. About 20 laps to go. We're expecting the rain. I think we're going to have...
Oh!
Whoa.
Is that Stroll?
That was Lance Stroll. A little bit of damage there. I must say it's not one of my favourite tracks, this. I think that people play the occasion more for Monaco than...
100. It's always been about the history of the track and
the atmosphere,
and the harbour, etc. But I tell you,
as a race, I don't enjoy the race that much.
I'm with you. I don't think it's one that you look at and go, "Wow, I've got damage." Lance Stroll, there you go. Surprise. What do you make of him? I don't like him. I find him annoying.
Do you not like him because his dad owns the team?
He's there because of his dad,
Yeah.
isn't he? Right, we know. Is he that great?
No, I'd say I think he's improved under the guidance of Alonso. I think he's doing a bit of like a tutoring job, and I think he has improved in that sense.
He wouldn't get a drive anywhere else, in my opinion.
You don't think?
Nah,
Not like a team like Alpine. You don't think? Or
I don't even think. I wouldn't say he's in the bottom few drivers for me.
It's funny about Stroll because we were just talking about drivers in the wet. I mean, you think of, I think it was Turkey in 2020. He took pole for Racing Point in the wet.
Yeah.
And he's always done these little things. Monza as well. I think he qualified second in the Williams in his first year. Little things like this, and he's really good. And then he has other instances like we've seen with the Haas there, where he kind of just hits him for no reason. So it's always like you think he's good, but then he goes and does something kind of strange. It's very hard to judge Lance Stroll sometimes, I think.
a little bit too inconsistent. Let's have a look and see where he got that damage then, shall we?
Considering that Aston Martin, he shouldn't be in P15 in the first place anyway.
Yeah. They're
See,
clipping
that
the
wasn't,
Haas.
that
doing,
wasn't on
man?
at all.
What's he doing?
We've seen quite a few of these today where cars are just kind of going... What are they trying to do? Go around the inside?
They're getting it wrong. There's a couple there, mind you. This is what I mean. I don't rate either Sainz or Stroll, and who are the two people that have made the errors? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If Leclerc pits now, there will be roughly a 2.7 gap between them if he does do that. But currently, Leclerc in third.
Yeah, I mean, still got coming. Lewis is looking all right, you know. And I'm not saying that because I'm a big fan. He's looking good. He's got the fastest again so far.
But he's still 8th.
Yeah, but there's some people in front of him that have got to have their turn yet, right?
Yeah.
So when they come in, this is what I'm saying. I think it will. I mean, he's not going to catch up with Verstappen or Alonso, but he could push as close to that I know you tipped him to come third. He could get close to that, to be fair to him.
I mean, Russell and Gasly, I don't think they've pitted yet. So
Russell and Gasly have got to come in. and then you've got Leclerc as well. We've just said if he comes in now, so that's 3 of them. So, yeah, man, he could be all right. He could be all right.
Okay, well, rain could most definitely be on the way. Sorry, potentially at lap 58. So,
Okay. So
18 laps to
about
go.
20 to go, and then 20 left.
Yeah, let's see what happens toward the end of this. It's a lot of laps, this race.
Too many.
What would you make it this
Too
race?
many, if I'm honest.
Why
Like,
does it have to be 78 laps? This one.
It's a good shout. I can't answer that. Do you?
Because the circuit's so short, maybe. It's actually, Monaco's actually, every Formula 1 race runs to a distance of 300 kilometres, and Monaco's the only race that doesn't. I think it runs to like 260 or something. It's actually shorter than every
It's
other
about
race.
a minute and 11, right?
About that, yeah. Probably about a minute 14, 15 in race trim. But that's the reason why there's so many laps, because it's such a
But
short
even
circuit.
60 would be long, right?
I would say. I mean, surely this should be a 60, 65 lap race. Nearly 80 laps is quite intense.
That is quite a lot. Yeah.
It is really.
This is good Prosecco, by the way.
It's actually not that bad, is it? I think it's a finest bottle. That's why. As Prosecco goes, it's not
Only
too
get
bad.
the best in here, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know us. Apex says Sainz is absolutely fuming. I think he's probably a little bit annoyed at the strategy, probably at himself.
Should be
as
annoyed
well.
himself. He's
Yeah.
the one who went flying into someone. I mean, to be fair, it hasn't actually affected the race as much as he potentially thought it would have. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not sure on the driver. I can't lie.
Well, we're still waiting to see Verstappen come into pit. I mean, he's built that back up to 9 seconds, the gap between him and Alonso. But any time now.
Oh, it's easy for him, innit? I mean, he is incredible. Absolutely incredible driver. How old is he now?
Who?
Max.
Verstappen 25.
That's mad.
Incredible.
That is mad.
You think like he's been in F1 almost 10 years now. He debuted in 2015. He's only 17. They actually brought in a rule after he came into F1 to make it that F1 drivers couldn't be under the age of 18 because he was so young when he started.
Yeah.
He
Good
didn't
enough,
have a
though,
driver's license when he started in F1.
He didn't have a driver's
No.
license. That's crazy.
You think it like that?
That's mad, isn't it?
It's crazy, yeah.
He's been incredible for a young driver.
He's got so. Imagine what he can achieve in terms of how much
Got
longer.
another 10 years at least.
But he
hasn't
seems like the type of person that's in it just for the driving, and when he's over it, he'll stop. It's not
But that's
like
the thing. How long is he going to stay around? You know, when you're only 25 now. You've been there for 10 years. How much more are you going to do it?
well, it's
until you
easy.
decide to go.
You
do
either look
something
at
else.
Alonso and think, well, I'm going to spend my whole life here, or other drivers that have done the same thing, or you think I'm going to just do something else with my life now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable driver, truly. Tiz says 11 seconds on the Perez pit, not his day at all. Danny says Lewis looking on course for a potential top 3 finish here. Rangers fan 1996 says last year when Ferrari wanted Sainz to pit when he was trying to overtake 3rd or 4th, another moment. Grimbo stuff, he'd rather watch the League 2 playoff final than this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the League 2 playoff final.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with football.
Nothing wrong with that. Harry says, what did Sainz say? It sounded like he called Hamilton weak. I think he did call him weak. I don't know what was in context to, but he did. We saw that come up on the radio. Ephraim says Max said he can't see himself past his contract because he wants to do racing and Le Mans in his prime.
Really?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. That's
I mean, to be fair, if you win like 5 championships or whatever, then
What more have you to prove? You know?
Look, I think Lewis wants 8, doesn't he? You can tell he wants 8. I don't think he will get it now, unless he makes a move. At the moment, it's not looking like that.
I think for
But maybe
Lewis,
it's not about getting 8. Maybe it's about going when you're ready. You know what I mean?
for Lewis, he's very like Fernando. Fernando's adamant he'll get that 3rd title before he retires. Really, with Aston Martin, it remains to be seen. But I think Lewis, he needs to wait maybe another year or 2 till Mercedes find their feet, and then he'll go after it properly. If he got that 8, though, I think that'd be
I think he'll go
Call it
after
a day.
that. I mean, he's got late 30s. So
37.
there we go.
Yeah.
So he's got a few years until he has to decide what he wants to do in terms of getting to the big 4-0. But I'm not sure I can see it in the near future.
yeah, I'm unsure where it's going to be. Russell on the radio talking about Gasly. I really love George Russell. I would love to see him at Red Bull
Why?
because I just love him as a driver. I just absolutely love him.
I love
think he'd
George
be great.
Russell, man. I think he's class. Thought he was unbelievable in the Williams to do what he was doing in that car when it was actually really poor. It was exceptional. But I've been really impressed with him. Last season when he came to Mercedes, I was like, let's see what you're about, kid. And he was absolutely smashing Lewis.
He's a really,
qualifying.
yeah, but I still think he
superb,
does for the
man.
most part. I mean, he doesn't really ever let me down, I feel like, from a driver perspective. I think he's such a great talent.
Outstanding. And it helps me, bro. Like, you got to love the Brits, man. Got to
Yeah,
love the Brits. I'm
it's nice
patriotic, man. You got to love the Brits, ain't you?
I'm just not a Lewis fan. I just never have been. I'm sorry.
Why is that though? Do you think? Because I understand why people don't like him, because he's arrogant and because he's brilliant and because he wins stuff. But what else is it about it?
I don't like that
he
he's
accepts
from,
he's a quality driver.
I don't like that
right?
he's from Stevenage and he talks like he's American. He lives 20 minutes down the road from me.
Okay.
No, that's not the sole reason I don't like him.
That's
But
not- Okay.
no, it's not I don't like him. Obviously, I don't know him, but I just prefer. I just never had that bond with Hamilton like I had with.
I think the thing is with me, I had a bond because I went to Silverstone every year and I saw him in GP2 and he won both races and I thought, who the hell is this kid? He's exceptional. And I found out he was going to McLaren and I've just followed his journey.
Yeah.
So when you do that, you find a connection, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, I think he's one of the greatest ever.
I just think that's more similar to how I feel about Verstappen. I've just watched him
Yeah.
so much since he came into the sport, and like you just get a connection with a
Of course.
particular driver, and it's nice to see. I mean, I equally really like Carlos Sainz.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Don't know why, but I do.
I just don't know if I rate him, Abs. I think he's all right, but
So where would you put him then? If you could rejig everybody, where would you put and who would you put where?
in terms of teams,
Yeah, in terms of teams.
I'd have Lewis and Max in the same team. I think it would be wicked for the sport.
Really?
Or I would have them like they were a couple of years ago, where both cars were the same.
Yeah. And they
Like I
can
want them at the
compete.
same level, I suppose, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Charles Leclerc has pitted. Is this going to be a
Well,
quick one? That was a quick one.
2012 season again, where you had
2
like
points.
8 winners in the first 8 rounds.
Unreal.
Because everybody was so close to each other.
Unreal.
That was incredible.
There's been some great years, man, to be fair. The Kimi Räikkönen, when he won it, Alonso and Lewis were going at it every single
That's
race,
right.
and he just came and went, I'll just win it then
Yeah.
if you two are going to fight. That was a class year. Rosberg and Lewis was a great year. Max and Lewis the other night, it ended horrendously, but it was probably the best season I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was an unbelievable season. Like, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was
Well,
just
that is the danger, isn't it? When you have
incredible.
two drivers that are like Hamilton and Rosberg,
Yeah.
it can.
It was like Senna and Prost. You know, that Senna and Prost year was mad, you know.
Neither of them would back down ever. You know, they'd crash before they'd let
Like
each
crash
other
into the
by,
first
you
corner
know.
because you know that if you don't if you don't finish the race, I'm the champion.
Yeah.
Bang, straight into you, like, oh well, I'm the champion. What an arsehole.
Yeah.
What great things like to watch as a fan, you know, like incredible. And,
So competitive.
oh, the best.
So
man.
incredibly
They
competitive.
were.
Max is still not pitted. We thought he would be pitted by now, but he hasn't. 46 out of 78 laps. When do we think he's going to come in then? Another 10? Are they waiting for the weather?
That could be it. I was just thinking he could be stretching it out in case this rain comes. Because if he pits now and then the rain comes, he's going to have to pit again and he's not going to get his positions back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a very very difficult situation at the moment now.
He's got such a big gap from anyone else that's behind him, to be honest with you.
That's it. He can afford to do it on them tyres, no matter how bad they are now.
Yeah, I think Alonso potentially is also taking that same approach with the tyres and the pitting.
Yeah.
Because if that rain is coming, but then if it doesn't,
See, there's also on the radio asking about the rain.
yeah,
What are the threats?
rain in potentially
I don't know, it's
50
baking on here.
laps.
You've got your
boiling.
hoodie on, mate. You're not.
It's warm. It's warm.
Because you've been in Tenerife mode. That's what it is.
I feel like it's freezing outside at the minute. Body's just readjusting.
I was going to bring my jacket when I came here and I looked out the window and was like, no way.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a lovely day. Shame we're stuck in here. Harry says, I don't get Sainz's problem. He hates Hamilton, I swear. He can't defend against him, so he pushes him into walls and stuff. Hopefully Sainz gets calmer for saying that. Ephraim says, Lewis is an Arsenal fan and played in the same team as Ashley Young in an academy before he went karting full-time.
True.
Did not know that.
That's facts, yeah. They're
I knew it
both
was
really
Arsenal.
good mates in
Academy,
Stevenage.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's really why I don't like him.
Apparently, and this is a true story, apparently he was better than Ashley Young when they were playing football when they were
Really?
young.
Oh.
Yeah, and he went into karting and obviously Ashley Young stuck it out and become a great footballer. So
How funny. Rangers fan 1996 says Lewis and Max in the same team would be Rosberg, Hamilton, gone nuclear. Oh, it would.
it would.
You would not want to be the team principal of that.
Imagine having to put one of them in your first line, your favourite one of them. You just
Could you imagine? Oh my goodness
Imagine when
me.
they do a Barcelona and come together. How do you get over that one?
That would not be good. Harry says Lewis and Max would not be able to race each other without crashing into each other. And he also says lap 61 is potentially for when the rain will come. So it will be an interesting finish to see, especially how much rain is coming. True.
Yeah, it will be. And we're on lap 48 now, and the front four haven't pitted. I mean, wow. I thought they would have come in by now. Did you?
Yeah.
I think they must be waiting for the rain.
What's happening here? Piastri.
He hit the wall.
Gonna ding the barrier.
Oh,
yeah.
he's clipped it.
Yeah.
He's clipped it.
He
I
should
think
get
he's
away
all
with
right,
that.
though. How much damage is that? No,
No,
get
it's
away with
alright.
it.
No,
He's
not-
just
not
got away
honestly.
with that. He's just got away with that.
The problem there is if you hit it a bit too hard and it sends you straight into the other barrier, like Sainz did on Friday.
Yep.
Gasly, is it?
Yeah, 2.5. Perez, from when he had to pit again, I mean, that's anything did build up to kind of like a 15th spot. I mean, it's been a really poor day, especially with that
Poor
11
weekend
second.
for
Yeah.
Perez, man, he's got one to forget. It's a shame because he's the only one who's close to Max in the championship, isn't he? So
Yeah, I mean, we have to say that after today, you'd have to say it's pretty much done.
well, I think it's done anyway. But yeah,
It's a long championship, but like Perez, he having weekends like this and like that weekend in Melbourne, he can't afford to do that if he's serious about the championship.
agreed.
Yeah, I'm interested to
Horner's
have a
like
look at that.
Max is like Horner's son, isn't he? So he's never gonna, even if he's close, he's just gonna let him win it. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the person that's closest to him, I mean, Verstappen's on 119 points prior to today's race. Perez on 105. So obviously today
still
he'll
close.
well,
But
it won't
now
be.
It won't be. Yeah.
Then the next best is Alonso on 75. Hamilton 56, Sainz 44, Russell 40, Leclerc 34, Stroll 27, Norris 10, Gasly 8, Hulkenberg 6, Ocon 6, Bottas 4, Piastri 4, Zhou 2, Tsunoda 2, Magnussen 2, Albon 1, Sargent and De Vries on 0.
This is it, man. Red Bull are just dominating.
And in terms of the constructors, I mean, again, Red Bull 224 without today's win. If they do, Aston Martin 102, Mercedes 96, Ferrari 78, McLaren 14, Alpine 14, Haas 8.
Was it Red Bull or Mercedes one year scored like 620 points of the constructors and they're like 200 points ahead of Red Bull.
100 points
Just
ahead of
look and think,
everybody else,
Jesus.
which is crazy.
Magnussen here, what's happened to him in the Haas? Is he going to clip something here? Yep. He's clipped the barrier again.
He's doing that in
though.
Melbourne.
I'll tell you.
He
Oh,
did
it's
that
on
in
his
Melbourne
back.
and the wheel went flying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Max, mate, I tell you, 8.7 ahead, he is flying. 28 laps to go. Rain ahead, here we go, Verstappen's on the radio, is he going to... Oh, what's he saying?
It's a big
No?
decision what they decide to do. Do they stick it out and wait for the rain to come?
Maybe drops of rain.
Drops of rain turn 6 and 8.
Oh.
28:40, just before the tunnel.
That's come a bit earlier then than they predicted, if there is...
About 8 laps early.
Look at the drops on the screen, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, he's got a 9-second, 8-second now.
You want it to tank it down now and just make it an exciting ending.
Yeah, but we don't want a red flag
No,
today.
I don't want a
we
red
don't
flag.
want a
'Cause
red flag.
I'm off out.
We've got a busy
I've got
afternoon.
Got to stand in the sun and watch Arsenal lose to Wolves.
Fingers crossed.
Not that it means anything.
It doesn't. It means nothing now. The season's done. Thank God.
Yeah, your game's bigger though. You've got Leeds.
No, hopefully we lose.
You want to come 8th?
Yes.
You don't want that Conference League?
No, I don't. I always said I think this game's going to be really high scoring. I think it's going to be like 3-3,
I think Leeds will
something
be.
like that.
Tottenham are a shambles.
Yeah, so are Leeds.
That's true.
No, I can see like Leeds going like 2-0 up and then it ending 2-2 or something
You
like
reckon?
that. Yeah, can. Anyhow, back to the race. So we still haven't seen anyone. We still haven't seen them pit.
What is happening? I'm amazed if they've gone to 50. Like you said, lap 40-ish, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they've gone this quick or this far. Max, yeah, he's still on the mediums as well. That's a mega step.
That is outstanding.
Harry says the rain might never come though. The soft seems to be the best thing to do. Tiz says, I think it's done, but I can see Max having a few DNFs, which could make it more interesting. I mean, do you think that?
No.
It's rare. It's very rare. I mean,
When's the last time he had a
Hamilton's
DNF?
still got the fastest lap time, by the way.
Yeah, go on, Lewis. Flying.
Flying.
Let's see what happens with these pit stops though, because so Ocon's come in. You've got Russell, Alonso, and Verstappen that have not pitted yet, which is just ridiculously incredible. But
Lando Norris is coming for a pit. Let's see how quick.
See, this is the problem now, because they could come in at any moment, and again, any moment they could start just pouring out the heavens.
Well,
and
that's the thing with the strategy, isn't it?
This is going to be really tricky now.
It's do you wait it out and wait for the rain to start?
Do you wait for the rain that might never come?
Well, Russell's on the radio
Russell's
saying it's
saying-
raining more and more.
Oh.
So I think we're probably going to see it happen any time now, aren't we?
how has Verstappen done 51 laps on the mediums?
I do not know.
That's mad.
Remember Lewis a few years ago, he did something like that. Didn't he do was it 60 laps on the hard or something? And Verstappen was trying to chase him down. I think it was 2019, but couldn't get by him. He just held him the whole race.
Crazy.
Harry says, pockets of rain, kilometres away from the track, says Giancarlo Lambias, Max's engineer. Rangers fan 1996 says the fact that they used to employ drivers just in case the drivers went into the harbour is mad. Didn't know that.
Wow, that's a history lesson for you.
So what's that? They
Just
used
in
to-
case they went into the harbour.
So how did they do that?
Alberto Ascari back in the 50s, actually, I forget what way it happened, but he crashed into the harbour.
No way.
And then
into the
what? They
water.
used another driver?
No, it was during the race, and he got out of the car fine, no problem, but
Just fancy the swim.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but surely the barriers are much higher.
It does
now.
get hot in them cars.
Yeah, it does. It's boiling.
It won't
it
happen
cool down?
nowadays. Besides, there's
Oh,
enough
these are
boats in
close.
the harbour.
Oh dear.
Oh,
he's
it's very
Oh, he's
close.
gone straight on as well.
Oh, can you do that?
Where's...
He'll have to give that position
That was
back.
crap camera work there, wasn't it?
Yeah, really bad.
Just missed what had happened.
In comes George Russell. He's going to pit in a moment.
These are close now here. These are really close now.
Yep.
We've got Gasly, Leclerc, Hamilton and Sainz.
Meanwhile, there is 12 seconds now between Alonso and Verstappen.
Oh, that's done. That's just done. This is where the fight's going to be at now. Look at them. They're like,
It's like a
it's like
train.
touring car racing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perez has moved up to 17th in that little bundle. I have no doubt he'll probably go ahead of Albon and Zhou Guanyu shortly. If he could make it into the points, that would be huge. Even if he could make it into just a point.
He's got a long way to go.
A long way to
He's
go.
had a bad weekend, Perez.
Yeah, we've got 22 laps left, 23 laps left. No, my maths is so bad.
I
Wow.
can't. I'm on eyes again. What,
53,
25 laps
25 laps left.
Look
I
at
was
how
close.
slowly they're going through
Look
here.
at that. Look
Yeah.
at that. Perez has got him.
It's raining now.
Yeah, it's raining
Yeah.
now. Perez has got him, absolutely got him.
Pits any minute now, surely. Verstappen's gone the radio
Yeah,
here.
he looks slippy.
I have to drive super slow because my tyres are... Well, this would be the time to pit, Max.
I think it's time to come in then.
It's time to come in. Your
Tell you what, he's
tyres...
coming. Sainz, oh my God, Sainz likes to... Whoa,
Slippage there.
that is slippy, I tell you.
He's gone on straight.
What is these cameramen doing?
I don't know, it's a really poor camera
It's
angle.
absolutely shocking, isn't it? They get to the start, they turn it off as soon as it comes to the corner.
To be fair, this weekend the cameras have been a lot better because F1 took over from Monte Carlo for this year onwards.
Okay.
Because last year was an absolute shambles. Because Monte Carlo used to own the broadcasting rights for this race. Do you remember it was like, I think it was 21 when Vettel was overtaking Gasly going up the hill and then they just cut the Lance Stroll going over the
Unbelievable.
curb.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So,
Yeah, crazy.
Sainz has also come on the radio. Let's hear what he has to say. But surely you have to box now. You know, for Verstappen, for Alonso. Those tyres are done.
Got it, haven't they?
Yeah, that's
Someone's
a long
saying
old...
we're going to crash. It must be coming down now.
Sainz.
We've got
He's
a long old
complaining
pit
about,
stop for Alex Albon. Was
the
that,
rock
is that
one in front
20?
of him.
Is that 5 seconds? I can't actually see.
Oh, look.
That is wet.
That is very, very wet.
That is wet now. They're going slow now. They can't afford this to...
No.
Oh,
Oh. Now we've got a race.
God. Alonso.
Oh, please don't give us a red flag. Please don't
Alonso's
give us a
coming
red
in.
flag. Right, Alonso's coming in. I need Max to come in ASAP and change his bloody tyres.
Hopefully he puts it in the wall. That'd be
Hopefully he
nice.
doesn't put it in the wall. Thought you wanted to go to the game. We're on a schedule today, guys.
This is true, but I also like Formula One. Oh, I'll tell you what, they're close. Alonso's in.
Is Alonso in and Verstappen listen? Because if Alonso's on the wet tyre now, he might have pulled off a blinder here. If it's going to really pour down.
If it pours down, that is a fantastic move for Aston
Inters?
Martin, which it looks like it is pouring down.
Right, there's a 25-second gap.
What's the pit stop, Colin? Do you know? What's
The time.
Yeah,
I
like
think
in
it's
total.
about 19 seconds they lose.
Yeah, 19 seconds.
Oh, they'll be all right then.
There's a 25-second gap between Verstappen and Alonso.
They
so
are going inters. I'd imagine Alonso's gone inters.
you'd think that
Oh,
that
no,
Verstappen
he's
is
not,
going
is
to
he?
box any
Alonso's
minute.
got. Hey?
Oh, I want to go on mediums.
Alonso's gone on the medium.
A new set.
Unless that's
Wow.
wrong.
Wow. They can't think it's going to come down too much then.
Perez is pitted again.
This is all going mad now.
Yellow flag sector.
Yellow flag.
2.
What's happened?
A yellow flag.
Oh, Sainz. Is it? Or is it
Yeah.
Leclerc? The Sainz.
It's Carlos Sainz.
Oh my God, what is happening here? Verstappen's on the radio.
Oh, goodness me.
Verstappen's screaming, what the hell am I doing?
Pit. He needs to pit. Give the guy some tyres.
Fernando, you can't use mediums in that.
Why has he gone on the mediums? That is a joke if he's gone on the mediums. That is mad, you know.
Okay,
Sainz,
Sainz,
box.
Again, Perez keeps boxing. Keeps dropping all the places.
Stop
Right,
it.
Max is in the pits. Quick pit, come on.
Has he got inters?
Get you back out, 2.4.
2.4, good stuff. Look at this. What's going on with the Ferraris?
Oh my goodness.
What a shambles.
I do not know what is going on.
Oh, Alonso is inters. Look, it was wrong. Or did he come in?
He's in the pits again, Alonso.
Ah.
You are joking. What idiots.
That
How
was
have
the
they
perfect
not...
moment.
So they
If
put
he
him
puts
onto-
inters on, he's got an unbelievable chance of winning this race. Now he's had to come in again. That is a stupid,
silly.
So they put on the
stupid
medium.
move.
So they put on the mediums.
He's stuck on the medium.
Stuck
What
on
did
the
he do
mediums
that for?
and
It's
brought him
raining.
around, Yeah.
What is the thought process behind that?
They've cocked up tactics there. That is
silly.
crap. That is crap from Aston Martin. That is an unbelievable chance to have a brilliant end to the race between Alonso and Verstappen.
Yeah.
And they've ballsed it up, so they have to bring him in again.
That was Alonso the first time. It
Was that not
definitely-
Alonso? Have we missed that up then? Was it Stroll that come in?
No, it was Alonso that actually came in. I remember seeing the picture, the little screen in the tower.
But how's he come in again and he's only 18 seconds up?
I don't know. We need to check that out.
Yeah.
If maybe we missed something there, but both the
I think we
Ferraris
missed
have
something
pitted
because
as
that
well.
don't look right. How can he have come in twice and then he's only still second, 19 behind?
Okay.
That don't make sense, does it?
It's a green flag now.
Unless he made up time with the weather being so bad, I don't know.
Yellow flag sector 2.
Oh,
Oh,
that is
that weather's-
brutal.
That weather's changed
That's why he
dramatically.
put mediums on for this. That is a shambles. If that did that happen?
I'm pretty
Can we
sure
check
it
that?
did.
That is a joke. If that is true,
Let me check the
Check
F1
out what
feed.
just
that
happened
can't
there.
be right. That you can't look. Who's this? Verstappen.
Max.
Look how slow they're going.
Oh, it's slippery on that
God.
track. Hit the barrier, but no damage. Carlos Sainz.
Sainz is having a nightmare, isn't he?
I mean,
What?
that's difficult to drive in.
Oh
Look at it.
my God!
Sliding
No.
everywhere. Oh, God.
He just aquaplaned there pretty much, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
To be fair to him, he did all right to steady that at the end.
Stroll.
We got Stroll.
Oh my
slippage
God.
from
Oh
here.
my
Oh,
God!
gosh.
There's his wing gone.
Alonso did pit for mediums. I just checked it. He pit for mediums and then came back.
That
to pit
is
for
a
wets.
joke.
So they did do that.
What a
did do
joke
that,
that is
yeah.
from Aston Martin. His wing's gone, look. Stroll, he's out of here. He's got to come back in. Aston Martin, absolute joke that is. Look at the state of the weather and he's put a medium set on. What do you think
really-
that's going to stop raining?
No, that's really poor
That
strategy
is
from the Aston
shambolic.
Martin.
I would have understood if he put the intermediates on and it wasn't wet enough. At least you tried to gamble it, but
What's happened with this weather all of a sudden?
It's coming, it's tanking it down. I mean, look at them. They're doing.
Look about.
It's going to take about 4 hours this race to get round.
We're on lap 57. We've got 21 laps to go.
I'll tell you what, Aston Martin, that is an absolute joke. How the hell have they done that? That would have been a quality
How
end.
close has it gone so now to Verstappen?
It was 21 seconds off.
Is it 21, is it?
So it would have been 9, so it would have been about a second behind him.
It's just,
And he could have actually made up more time if the Inters would have come on. That is a stupid move. What are they thinking there? That is absolute crazy.
Really poor strategy.
Lewis, look, told you.
Kevin Magnussen's still on the
Look at Lewis in the wet, man. Fastest lap.
Why is Magnussen still on the slick tyres?
I don't think they're fast at the moment, to be honest with you.
What is going on? He's on
Stroll,
the radio going,
Stroll
what
is out of the race, by the way.
Right. Stroll's out.
Stroll is out of the race
I mean,
after hitting the wall.
What an absolute fool he is anyway, by the way, Stroll. But Fernando Alonso has been mugged off there big time. There's no way he would have said, keep me on the mediums. That is a stupid decision that could have cost him potentially at least getting close to the last couple of laps. Do you know what I mean?
How close was he really going to get, though?
Well, you don't know now.
He was already 12. He was already 12 seconds off.
Yeah, he was, Abby, but if you're coming on with immediate inters and you've got a few laps ahead of Verstappen, which he did have.
The fact that Verstappen had a whole lap on slicks.
He had a whole lap on slip. You can make up so much time if you've got the right tyre. And that is a foolish decision. That's a Ferrari tactic.
That's what I was thinking. It's a real Ferrari strategic decision, which is usually the wrong one. There has been another yellow flag. It's a Haas. It's a Haas.
It's Magnussen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Surprise.
He's coming in for full
He's driving round on slick. This again, absolute foolish.
I mean, he's off and running again. The track again, just absolutely crazy. The amount of slippage.
What is going on there? Why has he been left out like that? That's a madness, isn't it?
He's in the pit. Will he be retiring?
I think he's going to try the full wets now.
They're not bothered. Look at them. They're not even.
Well, at this point, what's...
Oh, they are. What's he doing? Where's she going?
What?
Oh my God!
Oh my goodness!
That's a shambles as well.
Oh my
God! Well, you would have known that with the way.
How have they not got that ready?
At this point, you might as well just say, let's leave it. Retire the car.
What?
How are they not? What do they think he was coming in for? Did they not see him hit the wall?
He had planned the pit on that lap. He was coming in for wets.
He's coming in for wet.
You see him going to the barrier, of course.
Yeah, but they saw him going to the barrier.
So I've seen that, and they're not bothered to get one out. That is a joke as well. What's happening here?
Terrible.
It's like they've all been asleep during the ride.
They've just been chilling.
Who's that
Another
now?
one. That's a Williams.
Sargent, I'd say. Is it? Or is it Albon? Sargent.
It is Sargent, yeah.
God, I tell you what, this track in the wet is not the one.
Sainz on the radio. Is he moaning again? He'll be moaning. I can't hear. Foam on the track there.
Perez is in for a fourth time today.
My God.
In the pit.
You just say, look, lads, don't put me back out. Just let me have a break. I've had enough this weekend.
It is what it is. I'm not exactly going to get in the points.
I'm absolutely surprised. Sometimes you see the top teams like that. I know Hamilton's done it a few times when he's been down the order, where they just retire the car to save the power.
Why not? I would.
Yeah.
If you know...
Look at him. He's in 17th. He ain't going to hit the points.
That's the thing. If you know that you are literally so far off of hitting the points on a track like this, in now weather like this, why would you not just say, let's just save the car?
Yeah.
Why can't it be Max, not Verstappen? Well, not Perez.
Because it's not.
No, I mean, like, wouldn't it be nice though for the championship?
No, it wouldn't actually.
No?
No,
Okay.
it wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
Still try.
No, definitely not.
Maybe someday.
Yeah,
maybe one day she might turn around and say, oh yeah, actually, it's a bit boring seeing Max.
Listen.
200 points clear.
Do you know why it's not boring? Because this is one sport where I can actually enjoy. I can actually enjoy it, and I love him, and I love Christian Horner, and I really love Checo, and I'm sad about it. But this is a sport I get to enjoy because I don't support a crap team, so that's why. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the chats. Sainz moaning about Ocon not leaving enough space, even though he cut the chicane and never leaves any drivers enough space.
True.
Harry's not a fan of Sainz. LFC for the double says, why is Alonso on slicks? What a joke from Aston Martin, says Tiz. Sainz is off again. Buffalo says that they completely messed up on Alonso. What on earth? Harry says, this is karma. Absolutely love to see it. And Hamilton is weak, apparently.
Somebody done there.
Somebody else.
Oh,
it's the other Haas.
It's our friend again. Can't park there, mate.
Yeah. Oh, it's Kevin Magnussen again.
What is going on there? Is he going on the go-kart track? Is that enough?
Oh my lord.
I wouldn't want to be reversing that out
No
on the
way.
street, would you?
No.
Where is this really coming down? Look at that rain.
I think that's them out.
Just retire the car. What is the point of bringing that
What
back
else
out?
has happened here?
Oh no,
Somebody
Russell.
else is
Russell.
down the escape
Russell.
road.
Oh
wow.
God, what is happening here? It's actually becoming. Oh!
Oh!
Oh wow.
Perez has gone straight into Russell. It's actually dangerous. This now. This is actually dangerous to try. 5-second time penalty for the rejoin.
Oh.
That was an unsafe rejoiner on the track.
That was
Contact
close.
with Perez. So Russell's going to get a penalty for that.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
God,
God.
what is going on? No one can keep it on the road.
Crazy. They've got absolutely no grip. Oh, there. Logan
This
Sargent.
actually
This has
ain't
lost its
safe.
mind.
This actually ain't safe to race it now, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't look it.
I think Sargent was stopping in for the hotel for a drink or something there.
Well, he got Stroll out. He's the only one out. Everyone else is somehow keep going.
I don't know how Kevin Magnussen is still going. I really don't know. There's a 16, almost 17 gap between Alonso.
Now, 16 seconds. What is it for a pit stop?
19.
in the
There we
drive,
go. Am I right in saying then that is the most bizarre call I've ever seen in my life? They could have won this race.
Yeah, I think there'll be a big discussion point over that after.
Now, what moron decides to put him on? Look at how everyone's driving, and he stuck him on the mediums.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. That is a disgrace. Whoever made that decision, they should sack him. That is crap, isn't it?
It's a
That
very
is
poor
absolute
decision.
lunatic decision.
You
Look
said
at it.
that's
Someone's
a
looked
Ferrari
out and gone,
strategy.
I'll put him on mediums. Like, what absolute weatherman has decided to put him on a... That is a joke, isn't it?
Let's
Unless-
see Hamilton on the
Unless they were
radio.
hoping that the rain would go away, because I think that happened with Norris in Russia. They put him on the dries and he lost the win over it.
Oh, I
because
remember that.
They said that they thought that the rain was going to
The
stop.
weatherman got it wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, Lewis Hamilton on the wets is the man. Look at him. He's fastest lap.
He's got to win something.
Who's this all over the place? We're stopping. He's really struggling.
Yeah, you can see
Struggling
Max
for
is
grip.
struggling for grip. But he is lucky that he has that 17-second gap, 18 seconds.
Yeah, the 17-second lead though. Come on.
It's 62 laps out of 78. Definitely this should have been 65 laps.
I can't believe this is an 80 race lap. 80 lap race. Can you?
No, I can't quite believe that, to be honest with you. It's a bit much.
No.
Russell
Sorry,
will
I-
receive that 5-second penalty. Has it been applied yet? When will that be applied?
They'll just take that off of
Off
his
of this-
time.
off of
won't
the
they,
time.
I imagine,
Race now.
after the race.
Okay, Rangers fan 1996 says Kevin Magnussen was the only driver with hard tyres.
I can't believe. There's some crazy decisions here. They're just crawling it round now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like, can we just end this race?
God. 16 laps to go with this, and they've got to crawl it round. Wow.
I expect the rain to stop in 2 or 3 minutes.
They're expecting the rain to stop in 2 or 3 minutes.
That's interesting.
Just a heavy.
What are they
heavy
going
spell.
round in now? Has anyone seen the time they're going round in now? Because it's a one.
It's
one
a lot
ele-
slower
I'd
now.
imagine it's 130s nearly.
130s,
Yeah.
I was going to say. It's
Yeah.
got to be.
Yeah, it's a lot slower.
See, this is the problem now that they have, is that this part of the track doesn't seem to be too bad, but then they get to the other end and it's flooded.
Yeah. Very, very odd. Who would be your driver of the day, guys?
You can't really look past Max, can you?
No.
You can't look past Max. To be fair, Ocon deserves a mention because he surprised me. He's kept everyone behind him.
Yeah.
And Alonso, but you've got to give it to Max, man. It's ridiculous.
It'd be brilliant though for Ocon if he can take home a P3.
Yeah, it would. That'd be a good podium for Ocon. It would.
Yeah, and I think what's so important with this track is that pretty much all the hard work is actually done in qualifying.
Yeah.
If you start on P1, P2, P3,
100.
it's very hard for someone to overtake you in
man.
that position.
It's the most important qualifying session of the year. Really, when you
Definitely.
think about it, yeah.
For sure. That's why it's so important for Max for yesterday to make sure he had that final sector and make sure that he pushed that car to the limit so he could be P1.
All right, Abby, all right.
Well, it's
Don't
true.
remind us,
If only
don't
Alonso
remind
would have worked harder, you know, who knows?
Oh, that's
We get
And I just look at them. I just look at the Mercedes, and they're just so far off it.
Oh, wow. Where's this race ending?
What a nibble! What a nibble from you! What a nibble! I got a few people asking how you win this beautiful PS5, by the way. So the way to win it is you have to like and subscribe to On Track GP on YouTube and on Instagram. Head over to Instagram and make sure you do that. Follow us, like us, subscribe us, and you can be in with a chance of winning that.
Nice one.
Yeah, I've done it.
Get it done, people. Get it done.
I don't even play with it. Play
I
PS5.
wouldn't say
but-
no, if I'm
yeah,
honest.
don't play PS5, but I've still entered. I'm not a gamer. So
No,
yeah,
I'm not a
make sure.
gamer. I never have been, to be honest.
Like and subscribe, guys, and on Instagram. Very important. Very, very important.
What's Russell saying then? Rain.
Rain.
Rain will be reducing.
It's easing up slowly, the rain.
15 laps to go, guys. 15 laps. Let's have a look at the best of the rest, shall we? Stroll was obviously out. Magnussen's not been too
How
good.
is he still racing, Magnussen?
Perez is up to 16th. I mean, you'd like to think he'd get in front of the Williams.
It's a long way though. 7.5 seconds off
Yeah.
the pace.
But as well, you know, Zhou Guanyu, he started in 19th. He's made a little bit of lead up to 14th. Not too bad of a race for him, but I just think it's been so disappointing from a Checo perspective this weekend. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong,
Yeah, it
apart
really
from
has.
literally retiring the car.
Yeah, it's not been good one for him, but it's been a good one for his teammate. Russell's going to lose that place to Leclerc now, by the way, because obviously he's got this 10-second penalty, so he's going to come 6th here. He might even come out 7th, and Gasly's got... Yeah, Russell's going to miss out here.
If you want to give a shout to somebody, you could say Yuki Tsunoda. He's there in 9th.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
qualified 9th yesterday, did really well. And it's kind of like with Tsunoda lately. That AlphaTauri is not a good car, but he's been putting it into the points. The lower end of the points, but he's been getting in the points. He's been
Yeah.
doing
Done
really
all right,
well.
man. He's done all right.
Yeah.
He has been, and I think that's a pretty good result if he can get in 9th place.
For sure, yeah.
For me, he's stepped up quite a lot this season. We're seeing a bit of a calmer Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, and he's a lot more. I think he's a lot more comfortable with the team. He's very bedded in there. And, yeah,
More
you know,
responsibility for him as well.
Yeah,
Having Nick De Vries come in, a decent job from him today. 13th. I mean, hasn't
yeah,
really.
it's not so bad compared to previous races. It's a step up if he just can keep improving on that.
Amazed how old he is, man. 28.
Yeah, 28.
Never ever
It's
thought.
funny though how 28 is considered old in Formula
Crazy,
1.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's like in football, isn't it?
Mm.
That when you're 30, when you're 30, you go, oh, he's you know,
Getting on.
getting on
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah.
Getting on. Christ,
Yeah.
I'm 35. It must be an absolute
Yeah,
pensioner of all the
yeah,
football now,
yeah,
right?
exactly. It's totally mental in terms of the sport when people say that. But it's true. But as we see from Alonso, you can still be doing it at 42.
Smashing it.
42.
Yeah.
Absolutely smashing it. Good lad.
Okay, so we have 13 laps to go.
Hamilton's close here to walk on. He's in DRS zone now. Go on, Lewis.
We'll get the
Go
rest
on,
and
Lewis. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm thinking there. I'll tell you what, though. He is... He could do it. Could get him here.
I hope not. I'd be happy for Ocon.
Oh, of course you do. Of course you do.
Well, to be fair, I said Hamilton for P3.
No, you did. You did.
I did, but I like to see different people on the podium outside of Max.
But I was gonna. Oh, you did well. You saved yourself.
Of course, outside of Max.
That tunnel's the only place where they can speed up a bit.
That's it. That's the only place they've got, the tunnel.
There was actually a race years ago, Monaco, I think it was in the 80s, where they tried to convince race control to sprinkle water in the tunnel because they were so afraid about going from wet straight into a dry
Wow.
surface.
I suppose it must be though, mustn't it? Yeah, it must be.
It would be difficult, I can imagine that.
I remember there was a race in the 80s. I think it was Monaco, where they were waiting for a winner because everyone just kept spinning off.
Spinning off and
And it
running
was-
out of fuel.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
A while ago, though, we're going back.
They're asking Yuki to find some pace in the car. because there's a lot of under braking, and they're saying you need to find some pace to build it up, build it under the braking, and be able to do that.
I know, but this braking sucks.
Yeah. Ephraim says Russell wants Merck to let him through. Rangers fan 1996 says, you asked about how they work out the laps. Well, it's a formula. It's the total length of a Grand Prix divided by the length of one lap of the circuit, rounded up to the nearest whole number.
Wow.
So for Monaco, 260 kilometres divided by 3.3337 kilometres is 78 laps.
Well played, my friend. That's a great stat.
That is a great stat. Well done, you. MC said, so it's between Aston and Merck for P2 in constructors, or do you think Ferrari can catch up? Also, Barcelona next week should be much better for racing. It's a fun track to watch. Yeah, this is a poor track. What do you reckon then? Can Ferrari catch up? Again, a really disappointing day.
I think so, man. The reliability issues. I don't think I think Leclerc's good. I don't think Sainz is the guy. I think Aston. Yeah, I think Aston.
I mean, that's the thing with Ferrari. Like, you think of the last few years, 2017, they were up there with Mercedes. 2018, they were arguably better than Mercedes in the first half of the season. And last year, 2022, great car. They never managed anything with them. And especially in 2017 and 18, you could argue with Vettel and Raikkonen, there should have been a championship one there.
Yeah.
They just dropped the ball whenever, it's strange.
But they had a whole regeneration, if you want to call it, in the summer, in terms of, they got rid of Mattia Binotto.
Yeah.
They made a lot of in-house changes as well, and I guess they tried with the car, but it's still not quite working. So what can they do?
Any of those major changes, like the appointment of Fred Vasseur, like that's going to take a good year for him to get his team in place, and like, you won't start seeing the fruits of that until next year maybe. So if I was Ferrari, I'd be looking at trying to just do the best this year and put all into 24. I think with the new team or whatever's there.
And they need to also build a better car. I mean, Ferrari should be challenging. They're the most historic team. When you think of F1, you think of Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing to see. Really, really disappointing. Aglu Wapo says Aston used Mercedes engines who are now a rival. So Aston will switch over to Honda engines in 26. That's when they'll really challenge for titles, in my opinion. The Red Bulls still have Honda, right? They have Hondas?
It's difficult the way it works. I think they're still technically Honda engines, but they're maintained by Red Bull powertrains.
Right.
So they're basically the Honda blueprint, but Red Bull look after them.
Got you. Okay. He also says the Ferrari car is worse this year than last year. Even the drivers said it during pre-season. Engineering at Ferrari has gone horribly wrong recently. Would you agree with that?
I would, but Ferrari have disappointed. They've just disappointed, and the unreliability issues, tactics have cost them last season. They ain't really got anywhere near this season, in my opinion, either. But apparently the track's drying up quickly, so let's see how quick they can get round now. 10 laps to go.
I mean, I'm by no means an engineer, but when you have a good car last year, my thinking into it is it should only be getting better. You shouldn't be going backwards.
Facts. Facts. And they have.
It's easier said than done, but I mean, when you're Ferrari, these things shouldn't be happening.
I tell you what, Lewis has lost some time. He's just got the quietest, but he's now just under 2 seconds behind Ocon. But Russell is right behind Lewis, like literally under a second behind him now. Carlos Sainz is just under a second behind Gasly.
Oh, look at this. And McLaren's on Tsunoda.
I'll tell you what, he's done him, hasn't he?
He has.
Lando.
Yeah.
Well played, Lando.
We were just giving everyone we give praise to seems to then lose their spot. We've got 10 laps to go. We're into the home straight. We have not had a red flag so far.
DRS
Touching wood.
You've said it
Touching
now.
wood though. We're
It's
touching
really
wood.
surprising. Look, they're using DRS down the straight. I didn't think they'd in those conditions.
Look at Russell. He's like, I'm stuck up Lewis's gearbox here. He really wants him to take him, doesn't he?
Well, they should. Don't you think they should let him?
If he's like that. I mean, he isn't though. He's now a second half behind him, but he was right up by him. Lewis has pulled away a bit.
But again, this comes to favouring, doesn't it?
Yeah, which they're obviously going to favour Lewis, but Russell, I'd say this season and last is.
Oh,
Is that
Yuki.
Tsunoda? We were just bigging him up.
Yuki. He's had a little slippage. Please don't red flag us, Yuki. Please. You can take a yellow. No reds.
Oh God, I wouldn't want to be
Oh,
reversing.
he's touching the barriers.
God. Oh, my Lord.
My word. I wouldn't want to. Oh my God.
You would absolutely not want to be doing that, would
He's
you?
having a mare.
Can you imagine that reversing back onto an F1 track?
I wouldn't want to be doing that.
Usually that wouldn't be allowed, but the likes of Monaco and Singapore and Baku as well, because there's nothing else you can literally do if you go down there. They have to give them a little bit of leeway. But like that, you have to reverse and turn and make sure people can see you. Like
Do you think they'll ever get rid of this track? Never.
I don't think so.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will because I just think the history is too big. Everybody loves it, don't they?
Well, I think like we said, the occasion more than the race itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do feel sorry for everybody on them yachts though now.
Oh,
I
Getting
don't.
drenched.
If they feel lucky enough to be on one of them yachts, I
Mate,
do not feel
I think
sorry
you'll
for
be
you.
all right.
Yeah,
My mate went to Monaco once and he ordered a beer and it was
12 euros.
it was 48 euros.
What? What was in it?
Beer. It was
No
just
way.
like
You ordered what? One.
beer, like a little stubby beer d'Anor you get in France.
It was 48 euros
48 euros it was. Yeah.
for one beer.
Yeah, he said I only ordered one, not 12.
That's
Shocking, isn't it?
insane.
Yeah. Luckily,
You
his
see, if you
mate-
go to Tenerife, you can get a beer for €2. Unreal.
Is it too? No.
Nice and cheap.
Bloody hell.
Nice and
I
cheap.
went to Spain for the Grand Prix to Barcelona. They're doing these outside the track. They're doing like a litre glasses
Yeah.
of beer for like a $5.
No.
And
That's
I
good.
couldn't finish it before I was nearly sick.
Wow.
You know.
That's good though. At least
It
you
is
get
very
value for
good.
money.
Yeah.
Value for money. For sure. We've got Max on the radio. Do you reckon he ever gets bored being so far ahead?
I mean,
24 seconds.
maybe, but I'm sure he's calm.
He's literally halfway around the track before
Yeah.
he sees someone else.
He's so good, man. Such a shame.
Yeah, but Red Bull were great. You know, in terms of the strategy, they just seem to get everything pretty much nailed
Yeah,
on.
they're on
Obviously,
fire, man.
what we're seeing obviously today with Perez, he's now on the wet tyres. He changed his tyres 4 times today, or 3 times today. Perez, but, you know, that's more down to driver error. In terms of the strategy and the car is pretty much nailed on. If you can be the best
Yeah.
driver you can be, you will be successful in a Red Bull. And that's why I think it highlights about the difference in drivers. And I'm a really big Checo fan.
Yeah, he's nowhere near Max. Good driver, but
7 races to go. Races? Laps. 7 laps to go. We've got a lot more races coming up. Let's actually have a look at the next band of races.
I clipped the wall a little bit. Max Verstappen. Yeah, he hasn't damaged anything
Nah,
there.
you'll be
though.
all right. Don't you worry about it, Max. So up next, we have the Spanish Grand Prix. We have the Canadian Grand Prix after a couple of weeks break. So I assume that Imola won't be rescheduled.
There was rumours that it'd be rescheduled after Spa, the first week of the summer break.
Oh,
but
right.
initially, I don't think it will. There's a lot of there's kind of a bit of an opposition between the teams for that potential date because they're saying, look, it's our summer break, and with
Yeah.
the calendar the way it is, this is the only time we really have off.
Yeah.
So I don't think it will, to be honest. And there was a lot of talk from the circuit that whoever had tickets for this year will be refunded for next year, or you can use the
okay.
tickets for next year. So I can't see it coming back
Fair enough.
this year.
Okay, so there's the Spanish Grand Prix, then we have the Canadian Grand Prix on the 16th and 18th weekend. Then we have another break, it's the Austrian Grand Prix. Then we have Silverstone. Then we have another break for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Then we have the Belgian Grand Prix. Then we have a nice break for the Dutch for the summer break. The season's going very quickly.
It's, yeah.
Flying by, innit?
Yeah.
Flying by.
All right, I want you to guess, or what race will someone beat Max? Because obviously looking at our...
Silverstone.
Because obviously we've had Max, Perez, Max, most likely, unless something capitulates and happens, you know. So then who do you think is going to... We think at Silverstone, and who will it be?
I'm going to go for Fernando Alonso at Silverstone.
Fernando Alonso at
Maybe,
Silverstone. Okay, what do you reckon, Colin?
I think I'm going to go Canada because sometimes Canada is a bit of a crazy race. I'm going to say, I'd say Alonso as well. I'd say if something happened up front, he'd be most likely to capitalise on it.
Okay.
What is Perez coming in for now?
Perez again with the pit.
Just
Why
retire
go
the car.
out? Why go back out?
What is he going back out for?
Do you know how many tyres this guy's had today? Their strategy has been awful for him.
I was going to say he's going to try for the fastest lap, but he's not going to do that in track conditions like that.
What on
He's
earth?
just put on slicks to see if they're any good. Like,
What's the point?
what is going on?
He did put on slicks, didn't he? Unless they've brought him in, put him on slicks to see what the circuit's like for Max.
Yeah, but surely
Like a
they're not
guinea
gonna. But they're not gonna mess around with Max
Yeah,
at this
you're not
point.
going to want to pit Max now, are
Why would you
know?
pit Max with 24? He's got a 24-second lead. Like, why
Yeah.
would you bother? He's so far in front unless there is something wrong with
5
his
laps to
tyres.
go. Not going to do that.
Don't really see the point. He's 23 seconds behind Nico Hülkenberg now, Perez. Just a bit odd decision making. Sainz is only a second off of Gasly, just over a second. Can you see him moving up into 7th?
I don't
No,
think so.
I think they're all going to hold out here. I haven't seen much overtaking, have we, today? It's this track.
Ocon looks good for 3rd place though. That'd be a big result for
That's a
him.
great race for him. Great race.
Yeah.
Especially in the changeable conditions. That's really good.
Yeah, I was giving the compliments there to the McLaren and Piastri, really praising him for how he's been in these conditions and how fast he's been on the track. Maybe they're getting better, McLaren.
Well, there
Slow
was
burner.
upgrades a couple of weeks ago. When was it, Miami? I think they brought upgrades in, and there's been talk of later on the season about upgrades that are going to completely change
The car.
of the car, basically. So
When do we expect to see those?
I can't remember exactly, but it will be the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So well,
Have we seen anything today that for the upgrades on the Mercedes, or do we need to just judge it on the next one?
Not for me. I don't think there's been anything today that's proven. I mean, listen, they haven't had a shocking race. They're in 4th and 5th. I know Russell's got his 10-second penalty. I don't think as Mercedes this year anything, inside of the top 6 is good for them. It's about where they should be, I think, and they're competing at the moment with trying to get the next best after Red Bull and Aston. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see this really for a couple of weeks yet. But
they really need to be back on the podium at least.
you need
At
to,
least,
man.
yeah.
You need to. I mean, even today, I know Ocon's been great. Don't get me wrong, but should he be finishing above Lewis and Russell? Not for me.
No.
So it's
But then that kind of goes back to what we said with this track, that if you have a good qualifying,
yeah. No, it's true.
And because it's such a slow circuit like these corners here, it's all about the driver. It's not about power, or hence why Alonso could get so close to Verstappen yesterday.
What we got? 3 laps left.
we got 3 laps left. Would you say this has been more entertaining than Baku? 'Cause Baku was up there with one of the boringest races.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this has been more entertaining due to the wet weather. I think that made it fun because everyone was slipping and sliding around on ice rink,
A
weren't it?
few bangs like Sainz and that as well.
Exactly. You had a couple of knocks,
yeah.
but I mean, listen, it hasn't been wildly entertaining.
It's
but
average
Baku was
Monaco.
not. Yeah, it is Monaco. Yes, you're fact. It's true. But no, I've seen worse.
Seen worse?
100.
Baku was up there for
Baku
me.
was poor.
Baku was so poor.
Yeah, it was hard, wasn't it? Hard watch
It was a
sometimes.
it was a hard race. The best moment of Baku was a guy doing a camera angle through a castle window. That was my favourite moment.
That's quite impressive, right?
It was quite
And
impressive.
it's a shame because Baku's usually the one that's a little bit chaotic, or the one you want to sit down and watch.
Yeah, just wasn't. LFC for the double says you jinxed Yuki. We did jinx. We did jinx Yuki. We're sorry.
We did, man. It was
Sorry,
like, yeah,
Yuki.
and he
We're
did it
sorry,
well,
Yuki.
and then boom.
MC says the Red Bull has a Honda ICE, but the rest of the power unit is RB powertrain. Yep, absolutely, as Colin said. Aguapo says Monaco's a legendary track. They'll never get rid of it. The cars are just too wide for overtaking in an already hard track to overtake on. Gold Coast Blackstar says, isn't Russell going to get a penalty? Why would Merck allow him to pass Hamilton if it won't amount to much? It's a fair point. Who's this one? Al Guapo says he's numb to the success. He's on the trajectory to be the GOAT. It's looking sticky for Hamilton fanboys. I assume he's talking about Max in that context. Rangers
He's not
fan.
the GOAT though, is he?
Well, why not?
What, Max?
No, he's
Verstappen?
not. He could be.
On one day he could be. He's not right
Not
now
yet.
though, is he?
Not
No,
yet, but he
I
could
thought
be.
he meant right now. I was
No.
like, wow.
He's not the GOAT, but he could be. He's a brilliant driver, though.
Ah, yeah.
Rangers fan 1996 said the calendar is far too stacked. MC says at this point Max should just put some tunes on. Yep, he's fully there for the vibes. Aguapo says, what podcast do you think Max is listening to right now? Hopefully he's listening to our show. We've just seen Kevin Magnussen retire. Surprise. I mean, he should have done that ages ago, to be fair. LFC for the double says Leclerc gets a 3-second grid penalty in Monaco and Sainz still finishes 2 places behind him. 3 places.
Told you, this guy is not good enough. I did not say this at the start.
He's just had a poor
I know
race.
you like him, but
I
he
do
ain't
like
good
him,
enough,
but
is he?
I feel like I have this conversation often, with Sainz and Leclerc. I feel that, again, the car does let them down. I think that probably Leclerc is the better driver,
easy.
for sure.
Easily.
But I do think that Sainz is a good driver. He actually gives me Danny Ricciardo vibes. Like a good driver, but just makes
I think
mistakes.
that's fair. I think Danny Rick's better than Carlos Sainz. But I think you're right. He's not a Verstappen.
No, he's not. I
Ricciardo,
think you have the Verstappens and the Hamiltons.
Yeah.
And then you have the Alonsos. And then you
Yeah.
have, the next band. And I'd say he's in that Ricciardo bracket for me.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
agree
I
with
really
that.
think I miss Danny Ricciardo. I'd really like to have him back on the grid.
He's a legend, mate.
He is. He's just so jokes. Is that Tom Holland
Tom
doing the
Holland,
checkered flag?
he's
I
doing
want to
the
do the
checkered
checkered
flag.
flag.
Do you remember when Pele, bless him, did it? And he did it the wrong lap. What a lad. Oh, you've gone out of lap too soon. Someone pull him back.
Yeah.
It was too late. He's
Too late. He's thrown the flag.
Who was it? Was it I think it was Winnie Harrow, the model. She did it in Canada a few
Yeah.
years ago. She waved it at Vettel, and Vettel was on the radio. Tell her to stop waving that. It's not over yet.
No way. How can you get that
Surely
wrong?
they're told when they're meant to wave it.
Yeah.
We are on the last lap now. We're coming to a finish, and it is, of course, going to be Max that wins.
Final lap. Here we go.
God,
One more
what a
lap for him to put it in
season.
the wall.
Shut up. We're almost home and dry. You can make it to the Emirates in time if
Oh
you
no,
don't
I'm
put it
going
in
to be
the wall.
all right, to be fair. I think I might be all right. What's the time now?
It is 10 to 4.
Oh, I've got 40 minutes until kick-off. I should be all right.
40 minutes. Yeah, this will be, is it his 4th win of the season?
How many
It'll be
races is this? What race is this? Number?
Well, obviously, we had one cancelled.
7.
So one,
this is
2,
number
3,
six.
4,
Calling it
5,
round
6,
7, even though
it's
it
technically
technically
6
isn't.
because
Technically
it's
6,
6
Right.
because we didn't
One
have
of them-
Imola.
Imola didn't
Yeah,
make it.
so this
And he's
will,
won 4 of them.
this will be 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
This will be his
yeah.
4th
Oh
win.
my God. And Perez won the other 2.
Yes.
This
will
is
be
a
his
Red Bull
4th
dominance, isn't it?
win.
Really?
Yeah, but this is, I have to say, this is a brilliant, brilliant day for Ocon. Really, really good for him. I think in
Yeah.
terms of Mercedes, it's good. They gained 3 places for Russell, 1 place for
And they're ahead
Hamilton.
of the Ferraris, which was good.
Perez, it was a poor day all round. Really poor. There he is, my Dutch shark boy.
Shame
Doing
it couldn't
his
happen to
final
Max. Big up Perez. Shame.
It's a I really like Checo. I'm happy when either of them win, to be honest with you. Even better when they're both on a podium. But
Prefer Max though, right?
yeah, I love Max.
Okay.
But I really like Checo as well. I can't lie. And there he is. Comes home with
There
the
he
checkered
is.
flag. 4th race win of the season. Can this guy be stopped? And if he can, who's
No.
going to do it?
He can't be stopped for the championship. He could be stopped for a race, I think.
That's the best. That's
Like Colin was saying, I think with Canada or with Silverstone, we've got some good
A
races
bit of
coming
a
up.
crazy
Belgium,
race,
but-
yeah.
yeah.
But I
we'll
don't
see.
think he's not going to be stopped for the championship, is he? Like, this is one
This
already
is
for me.
this is done already. Absolutely, it's done. And we will shortly see Alonso across the checkered flag. There he is, and
Hello, Fernando.
Ocon with his first podium in Monaco as well. Pretty much overall was a fairly quiet race until the rain came.
Yeah, the rain come down and made it a little exciting and a little slippy for him. But to be fair to Max Verstappen and to, do you know what? Actually, all 3 of them, they didn't even touch the sides, did it really?
No.
I tell you what though, Alonso is going to be fuming there. If I'm Alonso, I'm fuming with my teammates for not bringing me in on the right tyres. That is a disgrace.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have made a difference in the end, but it would have made it much more exciting at least.
But we would have made it a little bit
I mean.
closer, especially with the change of the tyres. If they'd have changed it and not done them mistake. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of analysis and review into why they did that, and there'll be answers that come out.
Someone needs sacking, in my opinion, for that. That
Heads
is
will
shocking.
roll.
Yeah, it would do. If I wasn't in charge, I'd go, right, who made that decision? See you later.
Daddy sure will be getting his axe out.
Yeah, man.
Out.
Albon will be under investigation from the stewards for multiple track issues, infringements. There's been a few infringements today, which I'm sure we'll dissect over the course of the week before we head out to Spain. But it is another race win for Max Verstappen, who brings it home in P1. Happy me. So I got it right apart from I thought Hamilton were getting the points.
Yeah, we all got the first two right, that's for sure.
First two right, last one wrong. But overall, another really good drive from Max. I mean, as soon as he's off and away, there's no one that can really catch him. Alonso in P2, and a great afternoon for Esteban Ocon in
big
P3.
up Ocon.
Big up to him in the Alpine. It's been a pleasure, guys. It's been lovely to see you, Dan. Thank you so much for coiling. Did you enjoy your first watch along?
Indeed, yeah.
Sometimes it's good to put your face in front of the camera.
Definitely,
It's good. It's a good workout. Right, next week we will be back with the Spanish Grand Prix. Hopefully no weather issues. Will Max be able to make it 5 in a row? I think he probably will. But let's see how the Mercedes get on and what's next for the Ferrari. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your bank holiday.
Competition time again, and here is a chance to win a brand new PS5. All you got to do is subscribe to On Track GP on YouTube.
Also follow us on Instagram at OnTrackGP. Make sure you like the competition post, it's pinned on Instagram as well.
You can win yourself this right now. What are you waiting for?
Can I enter? Or can I have a go?
No.